Life. Mm. Bookie, stand by. Hello, everyone. Hello, everybody. If you're watching from YouTube or you're watching from Facebook, uh, hello, Bookie. Hello, Mr. Consequence. Hello, Mr. Consequence is in the car. Hello, Bukola. Nice to see you guys showed up. I'm really honored. I really feel honored. Thanks a lot for okay, someone else came on. More with me. Okay, good. She'll be on. She will join us now. So, how? Hello, Omo. Finally, you made it. Yes. Okay. So, I don't think we've wasted any time now. We're on schedule. So, as you all know, our topic today is the tough question that everybody keeps jumping over. This 50-50 relationships. Are they is the concept is it a brilliant concept in modern relationship? And when we say 50-50, we're talking about situations whereby, hey,
Hey!
oh, thanks for showing up on my maiden stream. I really
Huh?
appreciate it. Thanks for showing up on my maiden stream. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Welcome, love. Sorry, I'm in a loaner car. My car is at the shop and I don't know how to, it won't let me hook hook up my thingy, so I might not sound as good as usual, but I can hear you. Why are you quiet? Or is it me that I can't hear you?
I think Ron is quiet.
Eh?
Ron is not talking from his end. Ron, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Mr. Kelly, you the form say I know they here, Abi.
Sister Kubo, I wanted the host to settle in. Sister
My
Buki,
my Omali
you
child,
and
you not see
Ibis,
me here at all. Okay,
Sister Buki,
okay.
you and Ibis, you are laughing me because I was tired. Both of you will go and pay my people bill. Your handwork, they sent me your video.
We
You
need
and
to go
Ibis,
to
you
therapy.
will be in charge of
We
our
need
hospital bill.
counseling.
All of you
We
that
need
were laughing
marriage
at me.
counseling. What do you want me to do? You are
I
two
recommend
fine babes, two fine babes all to yourself, and you fell asleep.
The man is tired. I'm not feeling my
Uh-uh.
best. I just check.
Hi
Don't worry,
everyone. Good
I'll be
morning.
back to full health soon. Hello everybody. Good evening.
Um,
Good evening. Hi.
Hi,
Ah,
where is Ron now?
where run to now?
I think he's
Hello.
experiencing some technical difficulties because he
Ah,
froze. Hopefully, he'll be
Hi,
back on.
Bookie.
Hi, Bumi. How are you?
I'm good, love. Good to see you.
I'm ready for you this night. I don't ready for you. I don't ready for you. I know we're going to clash.
I'm gentle now.
For where?
you see, these village people, they came at a very wrong time.
They don't know about me and Bookie.
ah, these village people came at a very wrong time. I came prepared. So sorry about that, the break in transmission. Unfortunately, in South Africa, we started experiencing power outages.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's unfortunate. But you guys can hear me properly, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you.
that's what matters the most. So,
Yeah.
what was I saying? Yeah. So we are going to dive into this very controversial topic of 50-50. And when I say 50-50, I'm talking about situations whereby the man is bringing in equal amount of income into the household, right, with the wife, while the wife still performs maternal or wifely duties on top of the 50 she's contributing. So we want to really look into it and see. And again, we have situations where my men, my guys, they're always saying that, oh, they don't get enough respect, blah, 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 and all that when you're doing 50-50 and all that. So I don't want to say anything now, so I don't preempt everybody's answers. I just, like the show clearly states, I want to hear everybody's view unadulterated. Nothing is stupid. Nothing is stupid. Everything we are going to listen to you. We'll digest what you said, and we'll see how it can be implemented in real life. Right? I think I'm setting the tone in a very correct way. Right? So other
Yes,
than
you are.
so let me before we start, I need to know how all of you are doing. Buki, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for
Um,
having me.
In fact, you guys have really given me so much. I feel really honored, honestly. And my people always have my back, you know. Book caller, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Nice, nice, nice. And my biggest act, my friendly enemy, my friend, my paddy, she got my back, defender of the world. Bumi, how are you doing today?
Oh, that was for me. I'm fine, thank you.
You didn't like the citation?
Eh?
You didn't like the citation?
No, I thought you were talking about the next lady for some reason.
No, no, no. The other ladies don't carry violence like that.
Okay.
You give violence, who violence is you.
Let me take my sub.
Then
Connect my sub.
Omowumi is joining for the first time, so I'm really happy to have her here. Omowumi is joining for the first time, so I'm really happy to have her here. I'm really excited.
Thank
How are you?
you. Thank you for having me. I'm fine. I'm
It's our
fine.
pleasure. Really, we're happy to see you. Then the man
Thank
of
you.
himself, Mr. Kelly. What's happening, brother?
Very well, brother. Let's get it cracking already.
Good,
Very
good.
well. Thank you so much.
So we're going to start shooting with Buki first, because I'm going to follow the odd. Why are you looking? You came first now.
I'm
So
ready.
yeah, so Buki first. So now you're going to give us your own opinion, your view on the 50-50 debacle.
Wow. Uh, my views on the 50-50, whilst it sounds a good thing for the woman, I actually don't think it is because, first of all, 50-50 implies that both partners are equal. But the fact of the matter is that they are not, aside from the obvious, biological differences and differences in terms of order and stuff like that. The woman that is actually at a deficit for me because she is bringing in the same amount of. She's basically doing twice the amount of work in the relationship. So if she's going out to work and then she's coming home and then she's having to do her wifely duties as well, it's really not to the benefit of the woman, this whole 50-50 arrangement. But I think women have taken the empowerment of the
Sorry, I
concept.
think everybody should mute their mics. Everybody should mute their mics. Well,
I think it's
okay.
I think it sounds like empowerment, but it's to the detriment of the woman. It takes a physical toll, a mental toll, and the home at the end of the day will suffer. When the woman is having to work so hard, not really having any time to herself, the marriage will eventually suffer. Now I understand. Oh, we need two-income households now, according to some people, but that's only because we are consuming more. And if we really examined what we say we need to live and to survive, we actually don't need that much, but it's the nature of a consumerist society that we live in. We just consume. Every day we want more and more and more, and this wanting more inevitably puts pressure on the marriage relationship. So I don't think, just in starting, obviously we're going to hear from everyone else, I don't think it's a positive thing, certainly not for women to have 50-50, and it breeds all sorts of other problems. But yeah, I'll kick off with that.
Okay, okay. You made some hard points there. Okay, let's hear what Bukola has to say. So we'll go around. Don't worry, we'll go around. Then we'll start deliberating. Why is Bukola acting shocked?
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Hi. The idea of 50-50, for me, it has never worked and it will never work. This is me. I would love to hear more of 90-10 rather than 50-50. I know it doesn't sound realistic, right? But the 10 will be for the lady, while the 90 is for the man. And I'm talking from cultural and biblical point of view, where the Bible says, I am an helper. And And he is the main person. The man is the main person actively working. I am an helper in the home. And that's where I'm coming from. And that's why I said the idea of 50-50, it's not going to work. And to me, I just believe that if you have to be keeping scores in your home in the first place, you're in deep trouble already. That marriage is in deep trouble already. So in that case, you're practically saying we have two kings in this kingdom, and the kingdom has to be ruled by two people. And of course, we're seeing the results here and there. Although some people are still not, accepting that reality that no, we are all the same. Well, men are women; they are equal. To me, I believe we are not. Considering what I do at home as a mother, as a mom of plenty children, right? Who has a career, if I have to be doing 50-50, paying the bills 50-50, that means we have to divide the house chores too, which I'm not saying my husband is not doing something at the moment when he's around me. But if we have to be paying the bills, keeping scores of 50-50, then if I do dinner, you have to do lunch. you know. If I do lunch, then you have to do breakfast. Right? If I do laundry today, you have to laundry tomorrow, right? And we know that, well, the Caucasians, some of them are finding it, and we cannot even compare ourselves with the Caucasian because most of them, they don't do things that we do at home. They would rather not cook. You go into their house, they cook once in a while, right? They eat out, right? So the idea of 50-50, I don't think that would ever work in an African home, so to say. I would rather embrace a 90-10 rather than a 50-50, considering the role that I play in the house as a wife and as a mother. So yes, keeping scores in your home, you're in deep trouble already. That's what I believe. And that is why so many marriages are still not working right now. So for now, I will rest my case on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Before we move to the next person, sorry, Omowumi, some guys on the platform says they are not getting info about the live. They don't even they've missed the link. So you're a moderator, right?
Yes, I am.
They've missed the YouTube link, so just post it for them again. They are sending me
Okay,
messages.
let me do that. Let me do that. I'll do that.
Thanks a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
um, so it's Kelly then Boom, Kelly then Boomy then okay, yeah. Then Mr. Kelly, can you come and tell us one or two things? Give us your own opinion.
I think the two bookies have said they both said interesting stuff, right? The way I see it is this: it's a different thing if condition necessitates that you start contributing your quota and sharing it with your wife. Okay, it's a different thing. But for you to fundamentally go into marriage as a man with the concept that you're about to start doing 50-50 with your wife, I think that's just somehow for me. And let me speak to something real quick. Oftentimes, I've heard people say stuff like, it's an African concept. No, it wasn't an African concept. It's a universal thing where men assume the roles of providers and protectors. Because if this is not the case, then there would be no need for the first wave feminism in the first place.
Mm.
Okay? The entire drive behind the first wave feminism was because women were staying at home. All right? And men, all right? And men were out there doing everything that they need to do to provide for their homes, which then also include voting, which was what the first wave was about. And I have a reason for touching on that to clarify this concept of is an African thing. All right? Now, there is headship in every healthy marriage, I believe. Okay, there is headship in or most, or let me say many, because I have to be careful. And why I'm going to have to be careful is that you have to understand, this is one of the things I usually say. You have to understand that it's a different thing if you as a man is marrying a woman who you are marrying for your advantage. Say I'm marrying a woman from a wealthy background and I am not doing well with myself and my own background is not doing well, then the thing is I would be careful with how I express myself, because now I'm marrying a woman who is who I am benefiting from. All right, who is like the beneficiary in the house. So I will be careful. But what I'm speaking to is I'm speaking to a man who is taking over the role of a man in terms of provisions and protection. And it's not like you are marrying this woman because you are needing favor of some kind, right? So that is what I'm speaking to. So if you're marrying a wife, a woman, and you're going into the marriage with the concept of, as I'm going to expect my woman to go provide 50 while I provide 50, and then we can run our family that way. I have a problem with that because it could work, but then just know that you have relinquished your position of headship, because I don't
Mm.
see how that is fair to a woman, that you're expecting the woman to do 50-50 with you. All right, then you're expecting the woman to also carry pregnancy. How do we even do this 50-50 thing? So when it is time to carry pregnancy too, or is there some sort of compensation for pregnancy that you cannot carry as a man? Because pregnancy would discomfort the woman. So is there compensation for that? Okay, okay. And if there's compensation for that, okay, then how about, why should the woman be taking your name, your last name, if you're doing 50-50? All right, why should the woman be taking your last name if you're doing 50-50? So I just think there are just so many problems. And why should you be the
Mm.
husband, by the way, if you're doing, because husband in itself, etymologically, dictates headship. Okay? The term husband in itself, etymologically dictates headship. And I've said this even in Yoruba concept as well. Baale lewa. Okay? Baale. Baale means Obanile, the king of the house. So I just have a problem with it. And what makes you different? What gives you headship? What gives you headship is your capacity to provide and protect that family, to be willing
Mm.
to die for that family. That is what gives you headship. And when you're removing that, which is very foundational to the marriage, then headship is gone with it. So if you can arrange that and you are okay with giving up your headship, then 50-50 can work. If you're okay with saying, okay, oh, no husband and wife, we are just human beings living together, okay, marrying, fine. So I don't know. Let's start easy first. Let's start easy. I'll leave it at that. Let's start easy. All right.
Okay, thank you.
You might get heated. So let's start easy.
So yeah, Bumi is the next person. I've switched on my fan because I know the heat is coming on now.
You people are not right. You're spoiling my reputation everywhere like this.
Okay, okay. Bumi is not a violent person. I'm just winding her. She's
No, I'm
actually a
just.
very sweet
I
and
know you're
peaceful.
teasing.
I know,
Um,
I know.
actually, I agree with the two bookies. Uh, First bookie, when she said that if you go 50-50, it's actually worse for the woman. She's spot on.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What my this thing?
When she
You said
said, "Are you
you
being
agree with what?
funny right now?" Oh, what?
You agree with what?
I agree with the two bookies.
Brother Ron.
Take it easy, Ron, because I'm very agreeable. That's why I make noise
Okay,
when I.
okay, okay. Go ahead.
Don't put me in a box. Don't assume you know what I think about things.
Okay,
I agree
continue.
with the two bookies. First bookie, when she said that if you go 50, first of all, let me say something, Ron. I'm surprised that when you said 50-50, you're talking only about financials. That says a lot about you. I think you're just concerned with the parts that affect men, but we'll leave that alone for now. But we'll focus on that. 50-50,
I just
right?
knew you cannot slide by. You
Uh,
just have to take a
It's a
swipe.
relevant point, though. It's a
Okay,
relevant point.
yeah, right. Continue.
So I agree with Bookie, the first Bookie, when she says that if you try to go 50-50 financially, it's the woman that will suffer. She's spot on. I agree with the other Bookie when she said that I agree with both of all of what they said, but the two things that caught my attention I think are good and important. When she said that in a marriage, if you now have to be hyper focused on what did you do compared to what I did, how is that really a marriage, right? I agree with that too. My bone of contention, as always, is usually what is driving opinions on this. With the two bookies, it was clear that it's Christianity. And for me, the devil is in the details, right? So, for example, Bookie saying, first Bookie, she's saying that, she knows that these days it's really important for, we prefer it if both parents are working, but she thinks that it's just because of our consumer society. But I think that she's not being really fair, because that shit is actually quite real. I mean, today, for you to send your child to university in the West, maybe not in Nigeria, but in the West, in Europe or in America, both of you need to be working. If only one person is working, that person would have to be a millionaire for you to be able to afford it. And what I'm trying to say is that we live in severely high cost societies now, and some of it is not just consumerism. It's actual, necessity, unless you don't want your child to have a chance in life. So I don't think that's just purely consumerism. And that leads me to what Mr.
Sorry, can I
Consequence
just ask, are you saying that university is equivalent to giving a child a chance in life?
Not always. It depends on the child, but you'll find that I'm not, especially today. I mean, I think that these things change. There was a time when it was probably a good idea for you to send your children to university in the late 70s, early 80s, and the 90s. Today, that's not even the case. Like, if you do the math and think about how much it's going to cost you compared to the return, because those jobs are just not there. Those middle management jobs that people used to do in the 80s that made these degrees worth it, they're really not there. But that's a whole other topic. If your child can sew or be an influencer or wants to start their own business or code, you can make a lot of money coding and you don't have to go to university for that. But like I said, that's a different topic. What the point I'm trying to make is that for you bookies, that most of it isn't just consumerism, it's also capitalism. And the reason that point is important to me is because I feel like Christians always think that this is all about the decay of society's morals, and that's just not true. It's also about capitalism and what it does to our societies. And hold on,
but there was no reference. There was no religious reference from me. Maybe from the other bookie, but there was no religious reference from me.
Right. I'm assuming that's what's driving you, because I've seen your shows.
Don't assume.
If that's not what it is, that's fine. But I'm trying to say that there's a reason why that matters, and I'm gonna hit it now, right? So Mr. Consequence is going on about a man is the head of the family. And I'm always very suspicious, I'm sorry, about guys who are fighting to be the head of the family. I really feel like if you've ever led, it's something like someone should beg you to do. If you've ever led, they'll beg you, you say, no, you're not doing. It's only people who want to lead for the wrong reasons that fight to lead, because leading is a great responsibility. It's a thankless job, right? And here's the thing, right? Today, where we have a man and a woman in most families, men wanting to lead, to me, is insane. It just makes that you don't understand how society works. The days when men led, they had a harem of women behind them. They had a whole home of more than one woman, tons of wives, tons of children, extended relatives, before they could lead, and they could just focus on providing and protecting, right?
Jesus
Today,
is
one
Lord.
woman. No, this is really important. Please hear me out. Today, one woman will have to do what a harem of women were doing in the past for that man to be free enough to just go and lead and be the head and protect and preserve. So
The path that was set up by whom?
what I'm trying to say is that as inconvenient as it is for people to hear, monogamy complicates this idea of man as head, man as protector, man as provider. Because when men had that position, they had way more help than they do today. I'll leave it at that.
I don't know how you arrive
Can I
at that
can I
conclusion.
just respond real quick?
Okay, who's going?
Interestingly, you know what is good, right? I would agree with you, right?
It's true.
Yes,
I mean, if we
men
take the
should be. Hold on.
infidelity out, I know that
Let
bothers
me
women, and just focus solely, sorry to interrupt,
let
on
me.
division of labor. Our society was better structured before, but now, and this is where Bookie's spot on when she says if a woman is trying to do 50-50 financially, when you already have so much on you, like Mr. Consequence was saying, when you're having a baby, who's going to, there are no other women to come and look after you. Back in the day, while you're having, if you just had a baby, there's women to look after you and women to look after your husband so you don't have to worry about it, and women to look after the older children that you had. Where is that today? There's none of that today. So how are we going to free up a man when we're in that kind of situation? Do you understand? I mean, I know women don't want to hear about polygamy, and I'm not advocating for polygamy. I'm trying to say that we should be honest about how we're trying to live, the things that we're trying to get two people to accomplish today, and they never had to do that alone back in the day.
Okay, so
Okay, I think I will just
before we
go on
to
and
now,
address the
let
charges against me,
Consequence,
right?
okay, Consequence, go first.
Okay. My good sister, yeah, Sister Bumi. You said you feel some type of way that a man who has led before, we know that it's not easy to lead. Of course, it's not easy to lead. The life of a man is not supposed to be easy, actually. All right? It's not supposed to be easy. And this is why men are driven by purpose, not idleness. Give a man too much comfort, too much idleness, then you create a weakened society. All right. Men are driven by purpose. Men are supposed to go out there and find the purpose. Yes, it's not supposed to be easy. Right. Now, secondly, you said there was something you said. Listen, the world today, and we see it was demonstrated during this Ukraine-Russia situation. It was men who were saying, you know what, save the women and the children. Let's go fight the war. Save the women and the children. Let men go fight the war. Can you point me to, don't show me from women who are already enlisted in the military. Can you show me rallies from women saying, no, save the men and the children, let's go fight the war?
Please, you people are not fighting any war, so let's not try to use that as an
No,
example.
he has a point.
No, we are. Of course.
No.
He
Men
has
were,
a point.
men,
Just
men,
because,
men were making
we
themselves.
don't know about them doesn't mean that wars are not taking place all around the world. They are. There are wars
Ukraine,
going on.
Russia. A good
Okay,
example. Ukraine versus Russia.
You're misunderstanding me. Because protecting, which is really fighting a war, is such a big deal. This is why men were just excused so that their mind can be focused. They protect the village, they protect the family. It was real, but today you're not doing that. We have police force, we have army, we have
Ukraine.
guns. So you cannot.
Hold on.
It's a false equivalency.
Sister Bumi,
You
let
can't
me.
use
No,
that.
it's
It
not.
doesn't really apply
It's
today.
not. Ukraine,
It's not.
it does apply. Men,
Yeah, not in
husbands were
Ukraine. Which
offering.
Nigerian men that go to war these days? Even
Hold
when
on,
you go to war, you go
Yeah, but
in
we're
an
not just
army.
talking
hold on,
about
It's not like the
hold
Nigeria.
days
on.
of
Oh,
Okonkwo where you're
sorry,
having to
everybody.
protect your
Sister
village.
Bumi, can I land?
Let me answer so that we don't overtalk each other.
Husbands in Ukraine were offering to go fight war whilst protecting their wives and children, women and children. This is a very good example of what headship is. That is headship in demonstration right there. Okay, they were offering. So and then I'm asking you, if you think there's no headship, can you think of any time during the course of this Ukraine-Russia situation where women are offering to go fight the war and asking for men and children to stay at home?
Women are in the army right now, but that is hardly the point.
Don't
We live in a.
I
Hold
clearly
on.
said
You said you made a point.
I
Let me
clearly
respond
said,
to you.
don't tell me those who are enlisted already.
What?
Okay? Don't tell me
Listen,
those who are already enlisted
look,
in the army.
And
Give me
Ukraine
civilians
right now
offering.
is it's fucking enlisting children. This is not the good example that you think it is. It
It's a
is. These
very
people
good
are not
example.
fighting to
Enlisting
defend
children.
their
No, they are not
country. They're
enlisting
being
children, by
used
the way.
by another country. And if you want to get into it, it is men causing men and other people's children to die for them to make more money. So you don't really want to go down that road.
Men
You
holding men.
don't. this idea of
Can
headship.
you repeat that? Men noting men for what to happen?
Do you know anything about that war in Ukraine? Do you know why that war is
I
being
knew
fought?
I knew
That
a
war is being
handful
fought
about it.
because the US wants access to Russia's resources. And why does US
No
want
problem,
that?
but
Does
there
it
is a
want
war
that for
going
all
on.
the people? No, it wants that
No,
for a few
of
men
course,
at the
it
top.
benefits.
Every
It
war that
doesn't
has
just
ever been
benefit men.
fought, hold on. Every war that has ever been fought has been fought by the children of the poor for the benefit of the rich. Men do this
No,
to
not
other
true.
men. Men do it. If women were in charge, we wouldn't even have
Let
wars.
me give you an example of millionaires.
We wouldn't even
Let
have
me
wars.
give you an example of millionaires.
We cooperate. It's you people
I could
that
give
start the
you
wars.
example.
So you don't
I could
get
give you
anything
example of.
from me about that one.
I
Not
could.
only do you start the goddamn
Brother
wars,
Ron,
you
what
have
are you
every
doing?
weapon known to man to fight
what
it.
what did
That's
they
what
do,
kind of
Seb?
protecting even the
Should
Bible was
they
talking
see
about.
you?
Oh, sorry, my mic wasn't even on. Sorry. Time out. Let's take a breather. Are we fine? Are
Can
we okay?
I wanted to address.
Everybody should drink water or some form of liquid first.
Can we just confirm? Are we having this discussion through the lens of Nigeria alone?
No. Broad
Okay,
spectrum.
then if that not being the case, then your argument with polygamy is not enough to satisfy, yes, all the other cultures of the world. And you speak as though in those previous times that it was every man that was polygamous. I don't believe that was the case. Yes, and headship is not about how many wives a man has. It's about how he runs his home and how he's able to provide and how he's able to take care. It's not about polygamy or how many wives a man has. He can have one, he can have five. The duty still remains the same to the one and to the five. It's the same.
I disagree. I think the reason the society seems to be falling apart is exactly because we're following Western culture, and it's Western culture that believes that a family can just be a unit of a mother, a father, and the children. That's not how it was supposed to be. That's not how it used to be.
That's how it's all. That is how it's always been. What Africa did that was good.
No, that is not how
hold on, wait.
We have always been polygamous
Bumi,
because that's what makes sense.
What we did in Africa that was good was that we functioned as a community beyond. So family richness was extended beyond the family. We also had community to support families. Yes, back in the day.
Yeah.
All right.
Here's the thing, though. This is why I said the capitalism comes into it, right? Back in the day, it's true. This is like an experiment for the West, and it went well for like 20 years. In those days, you had a situation where you lived in the same...
I didn't land.
Hold on, hear me out.
No.
You lived in the
Bumi, you're looking for my trouble
I'm
this
trying
night.
to respond to what you said because
but
I
didn't
agree with it partially.
Okay, wait. Omawumi has not even said anything, and we're already we are showing ourselves now. Okay,
I want to make this point. In the places like America or England where we had one man, one wife, and I'm not trying to advocate for polygamy, please do not misunderstand me. What I'm trying to say is that raising children takes a village, and when we insert capitalism into our society, especially the kind of capitalism we have now, where immigration is rampant, people find themselves isolated. We're being encouraged to just do this.
Raising children doesn't take a village, Bumi.
It's too hard because this is not
raising children doesn't take a village. If you happen to have a community that supports you, that's good.
That's what
but
it means when they say it takes a village. You have a community that supports you.
If you, Bumi, so what you're saying is that without the community to support you, you cannot raise your children. Is that what you're implying then?
What?
Yeah, are you implying then that without a community you cannot raise your children adequately?
Absolutely, you certainly can't work and raise
your
children.
That's not true. That is not true.
Okay, I think
it's true. Okay, Bumi,
it's not true.
Tell me
That's
this.
your point of view.
I have a newborn and I have a grown child, and my husband has to go to work and I have no community. What am I supposed to do?
You get on with it as women did in the past. You get on with it.
I think it's time for Omawumi. We've left her in the dark.
All this because you want to
time out.
You suffer like that.
Wait.
That is crazy that you would say that.
Time out.
Oh my God.
Time out. So Omawumi, don't be scared. Don't let this thing scare you. This is how we do heated
Uh,
debate.
I'm,
Don't be scared,
I'm
eh?
not scared. I'm not scared. It's
So,
good we're having a very productive argument
uh,
like this. And
I
I
told
really
you,
appreciate,
all opinions are welcome. You see how we
of
are
course.
entertaining and bantering. No, we
Yeah.
love ourselves at the end of the day.
Of course, I know. Of course. I,
Bumi,
I
uh,
absolutely understand. I
offline, Bumi is a
absolutely
very
understand.
correct person. No, don't mind all this gra gra. It's very correct. Okay, so about tell us your own view before we go round again.
Yeah. Well, I believe if you say 50-50, I don't think it's very fair. It's not fair to both the man and the woman. And I'll give instances. Let me start from the man's point of view. If you say it should be 50-50, okay, you want the man to maintain that head position that he is the head of the family, like Mr. Consequence said. But in a case where you have the man earning below what the wife is earning, how do you expect him to still bring in 50-50? That's not going to work. If the woman has the that is, well, I may be talking from a very remote point of view because that is how I am trained. I value family values. It's a very cogent point for me. I can remember when I was growing up, there were instances, there were times where my mom earned a bit more than my father. There were times that my dad had no job, that it was my mom that was actually taking care of the family. At that time, you can't expect my dad to do 50-50. It's not possible because he doesn't even have the capacity to do it. And meanwhile, that doesn't make him less of a man because the kind of mother I had, regardless of whatever, how much she earns or how big she is, she's always submissive to her husband. That might not be obtainable now in the Western culture now, but that is how it's supposed to be because as a woman, you're supposed to respect your husband. The husband is supposed to respect you too. But in the case where you're earning more than your husband, that doesn't mean you have to lift your shoulders up and start to display ego. That is the African culture, and that is how the Africans view it. So if you're saying 50-50 and the man is earning as much as the woman, it's going to be a lot of constraints on the man, telling him to do 50-50. That's one side. Then on the side of the woman, from the point of view of the woman, if you are saying she should do 50-50, and the man is probably earning more than she is earning, I mean, the woman has, like every other speaker has said, that the woman has so many more responsibilities to take care of. It's not only financial. Financial is secondary for a woman. The most important commitment for a woman is to keep a home. The woman is a homekeeper. That alone is enough 50. Let's be frank. It is enough 50. So if you're not expecting her to come up again with a financial 50 again, that's going to be so much stress on her. So I believe there should be peculiarities to these things. If you have a family where both people are earning, maybe their earnings are at par, might be the same, I still advise that the man does more than the woman financially, because that makes him the head. Men are naturally, they have this ego. They always want to be there. You always want to be recognized as the man. So if you are not going to allow that, if you are doing 50-50, let's be on the same level. That means you are dragging, just like Mr. Consequence said, you are dragging that headship position with him. It should not be. Let him be the man. If you may do 60-40, yes, if the woman is capable enough to do 40, and she can as well, carry all our other commitments with it. You can do 70-30. But let the man remain the man, the head. But like I said before, in a case where the man is not earning up to what the woman is earning way much more than the man. Even if she's going to be doing much more than him, it should not be really written all over her face. She should not throw it all over the face of the man that I am earning more than you, I'm contributing more. That's how it's supposed to be in the African culture. But these days, a lot of things going on in marriages. We copy this Western culture, and it's not really good for us as Africans because we have our own culture. Though there are some instances where our culture, tends to abuse one gender and the other, but at the same time, there should be a balance. I believe every couple should have their balance. You should understand each other. You should know what works for each other. So for me, I'm not going to advise 50-50, even if the man is earning more and it's okay. It is always better the man pays more. It's even written in the Bible, just like Mr. Consequence said. The man is the head of the house. He should take charge. Like he said, balele in Yoruba. Yes. They cannot call you bale if you don't have the capacity of being a bale. You have to have that power.
Bale just means the man of the house.
I was waiting.
Where do people get this from? This is not Yoruba culture. This is Christianity. It's the influence of Christianity.
I beg, leave Christianity.
Nobody
leave Christianity.
Bale is not even Christianity at all.
Bale has nothing to do with Christianity. You can't change what it is.
I just digress to Christianity. It doesn't have anything to do with Christianity.
Your history. We didn't.
What history are you talking about? What history exactly?
Yoruba was not obsessed with hierarchy. Yoruba was not obsessed with hierarchy. We did not.
Yoruba is even more obsessed with hierarchy. What are you talking about? We are even more obsessed with hierarchy. We are even more. Yoruba, I'm a Yoruba person, and Yoruba is even more into. What history exactly are you telling me? First and foremost, I am actually a historian myself. And I've retold Yoruba history in such a way that it's not been told before. To tell me that we're not obsessed with hierarchy is one of the. Are you joking? Explain to me what Yoruba history are you talking about that you said they are not obsessed with hierarchy? Tell me which of the Yoruba history.
Let me set the tone.
How many exist? Go and watch.
Wait. Give me a reference. You are making the claim. You are making the claim. Give me a reference. You are making the claim. Give me a reference. You are the one making the claim. Give me a reference to your claim. Give me a reference to your claim.
You speak with a lot of emotion, Bumi, but not very many facts.
Give me a reference to your claim.
Wait.
Be quiet now. Be quiet. Be confident and listen to me.
Let me answer.
I'm asking for a reference, Bumi. I'm asking for a reference. I'm asking for a reference.
No.
You can't just make ambiguous claim, Bumi. You can't just throw some claim out there.
Wait.
All of us matter. We have different roles.
Let me moderate.
This fucking obsession, it's actually disgusting.
It's my fault.
I'm asking you a simple question. Why are you getting riled up? Give me a reference to your claim. Which Yoruba culture do you want to reference that is not obsessed with hierarchy? Give me a reference.
It's a fair request, Bumi. Give us a reference.
Everybody, wait. Everybody, wait. It's my problem. I think I should have introduced everybody properly. Hold on. Bumi, actually, Kelly is actually a trained historian, Pan-Africanist. Wait, I'm coming. He's not just a joker that comes along and plays. He's a trained historian. He's a trained philosopher.
He's an apologist. I'm coming. Yoruba.
Google his name. Sorry.
And women.
Sorry, wait. Let me finish.
Let me finish. I don't care if you think you have a PhD in history.
So apart from that, Kelly also is a trained apologetic, a philosopher, Black historian, Pan-Africanist. if you search his name in Google, you will see citations citing his works.
You had to mute me. You're literally trying to force your
No,
let him
God.
carry himself in a way
Hey,
that makes me think
If
about him
oh God,
and my head
but
as
you're not
better than me, as
cooperating
above
now.
me. I
You're
say
not
nothing that
cooperating.
impresses me, but you're
Wait,
trying to force that
wait,
shit on me.
wait,
Ron,
wait,
you know
wait,
me better
wait.
than that. Let's just move
It's
on.
not
See,
a
I
America
position.
don't
wonder.
shit if he's a
Oh, yeah,
historian. Like, what
America
he's saying
wonder.
is
wait,
absolutely
wait,
wrong. It's
wait,
absolutely
wait,
wrong. And
wait,
we've been saying this
hold
shit for
on,
so long.
This
And
hold
is
why
on.
you
just the
not gonna
problem.
do your
Bumi,
own
you are just
tell men
demonstrating the
that are
problem with
missed in the
feminism
past?
today.
Go
You are
and
just
look at them.
demonstrating
Go
the
and watch them.
problem
This
with
is not
feminism.
this is not your
You are
record.
just
This is not even
demonstrating
acting
the
report.
problem with women of today.
What?
You are just demonstrating it. Cool
What?
down.
Demonstrating what?
Cool
Everybody,
down.
water. Drink water now. Water now.
Demonstrating what? No,
Water
You
you
are
have to
break.
know when
Water
demonstrating
to
the
know
break.
how to write
issue with
things so you
women
don't
of
shut over
today
women. And
and
then
their
what?
feministic
Because
Water break.
ideas
I'm
and
not a
ways.
woman if I'm
All
not subservient.
emotion.
People are mad. That's not the thing
Water
that makes me
break.
a
Cool
woman.
down
Oh.
and
That's not the thing that
listen.
makes me a woman.
Okay, let's
Being
have rules.
subservient is not the thing that makes me a woman.
Wait,
It's not
okay.
about subservience.
I want to address
It's
some of the
about
things that Amon
cordial
said.
exchange
Wait,
for
he's
me.
going to
You
come back to
speak,
you. We're
he
coming back to
speaks,
You can
we
exchange.
listen. You
I'm
just
very
charge. You
cool with
charge
that
on pure
until
emotional
you try to bully me.
Okay, so back to what I was saying. Everybody should calm down. I muted everybody. Bumi is still talking. Wait, Bumi. I muted everybody. Why are you still talking?
Ron, if you do that shit again, over time, I'll leave your show. I'll leave your
Don't leave.
show. Because you're doing
Wait.
it's
I
not today
muted
I've been dealing
everybody.
with men, please.
Wait
I know your
now. I
tricks.
muted
I know you people's
everybody.
tricks.
Wait, I muted everybody. Okay, now calm down. Let's obey the rules.
Look, I really don't give a shit about men and their hierarchy. If you want to believe that, more power to you. I want to address what Omomi was saying.
Okay.
Some
Let
of the
me
things
finish.
that Omomi was saying.
Let me finish before we go ahead. You see, when we are platforms like this, allow everybody
It is
you
not
have your
me,
view.
Ron. You men know how to do this. Look, I've been working with men my whole life. You know how to do this. You cut people off when you think that they're going to say something you don't want them to say. If you really are confident in what you believe, you would hear me out.
Do you want to come on another interesting subject? Since this one does riles you up.
I'm not riled up. I'm just not going to be silent.
No, then let us chill now. See, everybody
I'm not
seeing
riled up.
us.
This is me fighting back because I know how.
Okay, don't fight back.
Cool.
Don't fight back. I'll fight for you. Do you want me to fight for you? I'll fight for you.
No, I can fight for myself. Like, what the fuck? You people are just so desperate for
Mr. Ron,
just
let her finish, then we move on.
Okay, let's give Bumi 3 minutes to deliver what she wants to deliver. Then
okay.
after your 3 minutes,
you can move on.
After 3 minutes,
and you can talk about your hair all you want. I don't really care.
After 3 minutes,
God, this is so unimpressive. It will remain so unimpressive. You know what? In fact, I will say it. What Omomi was saying about if you find yourself in a situation where the woman is earning more than the man, that you shouldn't be carrying shoulder. You shouldn't be looking at him somehow. Blah blah blah. You see, these things to me are just being a decent human being. I don't understand why they have to be clothed in gender. What the fuck has gender got to do with it? If I say that I love someone and that person is in a place where they're depending on me, why am I rugaing? Whether I'm a man or a woman, this has nothing to do with gender. Do you understand? It's the same thing with don't ego. Don't let a man feel. Men, they like to feel like can you call. Why? It's not good for them to feel that way. And you cannot convince me that the leader, the strongest person in a group, is the one with the ego. No, that is always the weakest person in the group. You know what it means to have an ego? It means that you are ruled by vanity instead of real things.
You said leaders don't have egos, right? Can you give me an example of such leaders?
I didn't say leaders don't have ego. I'm saying having an ego makes you weaker, not stronger. So this thing that
give us examples. Give us examples of.
Do you know what it means to have an ego? It
you're
means vain.
It
means that somebody can just come and say, Ron, I think we should do something this way, and they know that you will never do it. That you're a useless human being, you won't do it. But if they come and say, Ron, hey, there is no other guy like you in this village, and then you will do it. You think that?
Can I ask you a question? I'm happy.
It makes you vulnerable. It makes you vulnerable because people know that they can just come and say anything to you, and you will fall for the sweet mouth, and you start doing nonsense.
You just box yourself.
How are you then the one that should be in the lead?
Hold on, Bumi, hold on. You just boxed yourself in a corner. You have a king in your village, right? Right? Am I correct?
I don't
As
come
a
from a
Niger
village.
babe, you have a king in your village, like
In
where
my
you come
town.
from.
I don't come from a
Yeah,
village.
your
I'm
town.
from
Okay,
Ondo
sorry, in
town.
your town, you have a king, right? You have a king from your town, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure you visited the palace
I
a couple,
love Bumi.
right?
Oh.
Bumi, don't worry, leave Bumi and Bumi. I'm sure you've gone to his palace once, a couple of times as a young person, visiting, as a fine girl, visiting your king, and your king wants to see, this beautiful Bumi, nice. Anyway, no matter the reason, you visited the palace before, true or false?
No. But what's your point?
You have an idea? Do you have an idea of what goes on in the palace with the king?
Of course. I'm a Yoruba girl now.
Good. You do realize that every time this man wakes up and takes one step, there are people appointed to hail him from where he's walking up until he sits on that throne. When he sits on that throne and he makes pronouncements, there are people dedicated to hailing him and massaging his ego. Whether it's a good king or a wicked king, it really doesn't matter. The important thing is that he is going to be praised from morning till sunset before he goes to bed. Now, are you trying to tell me that all kings are weak and egoistic because people are praising them?
First of all, I've never seen that. I've never seen anybody just arbitrarily praising king from morning till night. Here's what I have seen. In Yoruba culture, we are all praised. I have my own oriki. If I go home, they'll be telling me, Kumpumi, Leo, Pupa, Kiniko, that's just Yoruba culture. It's to build self-esteem. And of course, it should reflect who you are. So if you're a king, your own will sound different to ordinary people. That's not about ego. You're confusing yourself. That has nothing to do with ego. Plus,
Madam,
the king
Madam, that's the
is it on
classical
leave the rest of the head
definition.
who wears the crown.
Sorry,
A
that's
king
the
has
classical
extra
definition.
responsibilities, and with
Sorry, that's
extra
the classic.
responsibilities will come extra.
We're
Sorry,
deviating. We're deviating.
Mr.
Bumi.
Ron, is it possible that you time this discussion? Bumi
I'm
is
going
not
to,
the only one on the
I'm
platform.
going to
Can you
time
time this discussion for everyone so everyone
yeah,
can talk?
I'm going to get my
Is
timer
that
now.
possible?
I just want to lay something down. Since you said you've not been to a palace, I'm not going to judge you and I'm not going to hold it against you.
It's not.
So,
I've seen it on TV on the mechanic
okay, good.
shows. It's
Okay,
not a
now,
good. It's not the gotcha you think it is, Ron. Just let it go.
okay,
Let's.
I'm just,
So Mr. Consequence is right. Let's not make this about me. I was addressing Omowumi's
okay,
very
so the
important
next
point
person is
about
Buki.
how you treat someone who isn't earning as much as you. And I'm
Okay,
saying that in a good marriage, regardless of your gender, we should always respect each other, and we should
who
never
define,
try to humiliate our partner, no matter what.
but
Whether
no,
it's about
nobody has
money,
said,
whether
no,
it's the
sorry,
man or the woman, we
sorry,
should never
sorry,
try
but
to
nobody
humiliate our
has said
partner.
anybody should humiliate anybody now.
Well, when
Nobody
you
has.
start, she brought up a very good point, and it was worth pointing out, because why else do you want to be the head? Is it that so you can say things that she can't say?
Okay,
Eh?
so we'll
You
get
want to
back
be
to
able
it.
to humiliate
We'll get
her
back to
and
it.
say she's an idiot and she can't say anything back? Is that it?
Sorry,
Because that's not
okay,
what good marriage should be like.
okay, let's get back to the subject.
You are picking the
Buki,
worst to make as a
no
representation.
problem,
What
no
do you
problem.
think
We'll come back to her. No
headship is supposed to deal with the worst? You're
problem.
saying
Sister
you want
Buki,
to. You think that is headship?
okay, Sister Buki, so let's go to you next. Now we've now entered the realm of 50-50, the consequence of doing 50-50 with your spouse. And I'm happy that some people have started pointing out what may go wrong. Now, we are dealing with practical issues. We are not dealing with theoretical issues or issues that we feel we can implement and make work. We are dealing with what's already existing. Let's not deviate from the existence of what we're talking about. If we want to pursue a cause, it's a different thing entirely. We're not pursuing any cause. We are not advocating for anything new. We're just dealing with the situation. I get where you're coming
And
from.
I have thoughts. I know you people are sick of hearing it, but this isn't
No,
about
no,
that.
no.
This is
You
about what
come
you're
back. You
saying,
come
Ron.
back. You come back. You come back. You come back. Don't worry. So
Can
now
you?
my point here is this, that even though I understand where you're coming from, there are certain things you want to be applied to women. You want women to have certain rights, certain equality. I get it. We are coming there. It's not yet the time for
It's
that.
not about women. It's about all of us. It's about a society that works for everybody.
Okay, Bumi, yes, Bumi, start. So I'll time you for 4 minutes.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to be pushy. I wanted to bring us back to where I know you
No,
want
no,
us.
sorry, Bookie. Sorry, Bookie.
Oh,
Sorry, I said
sorry.
Bookie. 4 minutes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to pet this kit, which is part of my 10 quota that I'm supposed to be contributing, because I'm not gonna do 50-50, right? Um, but I have two questions for Sister Bumi. When Auntie Buki was talking about when she was explaining herself, I can't really put it together right now. You said we're trying to behave like the Western world, if you can remember. Um, I'm just wondering, why did you say that? Because the idea of 50-50 is definitely not from our own cultural background. But you, Takuda, you said she's from, like, she's that we're trying to copy the Western world. So what are we copying in 50-50? Because I could tell you categorically that this 50-50 did not originate from our culture. And I remember I mentioned biblical principles the other time. And I think you said, oh, that's what is influencing us. That's not the only thing. I remember. Okay, let's talk about Harriet a little bit, because Harriet is the genesis of all this problem. I think that was
Well, I
19.
didn't hear that. Ariot. What's Ariot?
Harriet, yes. Harriet.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's the lady that was fighting for patriarchy, um, that women should be able to vote and be voted for. We
Oh,
are not
okay.
going to, oh, she's the genesis of this, right? Um, and she was the one that actually pushed the motion that we are equal to men. So those are part of, she said we should be able to get tertiary education, we should be able to vote, we should be able to have a voice. She was the one that pushed that in 1918, if I'm correct. And she was the one that pushed the notion that women should be equal to men too. If you read it, those are part of the things that she pushed. So I'm just
Some of
wondering.
the most useless books ever.
Oh God,
Yeah,
Kelly now.
she was the one that pushed that, right? And I will always say that I agree to every part of, oh, women should be able to have a voice, women should be able to go to school, women should be able to cast their vote, right? But then the part that I do not support, if you check it on your phone, she started this feminism of a thing, was that we are equal to men, and that is the only part that I disagree with. But then I want to know your stance, Sister Bumi, because you counter Sister Buki saying, why do we want to be like the Western world? Because I can tell you that the idea of 50-50 is not from us. It's not from our culture. It's not what has influenced us when we talk about religion. So where it's more like, to me, I'm not getting your stand. Okay, are you with the Western world? Are you not with the Western world? What exactly are we fighting for? Yeah, I really want to get that clarification. I don't know
Yeah.
if you could help me.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you asked me that. Thank you so much. So you're right. We didn't do 50-50 in our culture because we didn't have this concept of a man and a woman alone running a home to begin with. Let me tell you something from my own personal experience in the modern world, right? When I was having children, I was far away from home. I'm going to bring it back to our culture and to why we shouldn't copy the West. Just hear me out. You can time me on. So when
You're
I
already
was
doing
having
fine.
babies, I had moved because I was very ambitious. Economically, I was chasing money. I'd moved from Nigeria to England to America, and I ended up with the kind of guy who really doesn't. He's not domesticated. He doesn't really help at home or anything like that, right? And I remember I was almost in fact, I was in tears one day, rushing to pick up my children from school. They closed at 3:30, and I had to put them in an after school club. And you're supposed to be there by 6, so that meant that I had to leave work at a certain time to be on time to pick them up. And I was just crying because I just felt like I'm not a good employee because I have children to worry about. I'm not a good mother because I have a job. I'm not a good wife. I'm just torn in 500 million fucking directions. This is too much. I can't cope. And then I remembered as a kid at my grandfather's house, his last wife, this woman was practically illiterate. And I remembered her lifestyle. I remember how when she had a baby, she had like at least 40 days or 6 weeks to just, it was just her and her baby. She didn't have to worry about how the other children ate. She didn't have to worry about catering to the husband. There were so many people in the house that were capable of doing that. And I looked at that with envy. Even sex, I was so overworked, right? So overworked that I didn't want to have sex with my husband. I was exhausted all the time. And I even thought to myself, I wonder if this man had a second wife, if jealousy would even at least spark my sexual interest, because right now I feel like I'm dead inside, right? So but the thing that probably was the most painful for me was having to leave my little baby and go back to work at 3 months. It just felt unnatural that why should any mother have to leave their baby? Now, my ex-husband and I, we didn't come from wealthy families. If we were going to make it in life, we both had to work. And this was when I started to see that we were not the same. When we're young and we're partying and we're drinking together, it was fine. But the minute a woman has children, it becomes quite apparent that men and women are not the same. But saying that we're not the same doesn't mean that one is more equal than the other. We're just not the same. Let me go on further. After I got divorced from my ex-husband, right, I thought to myself,
15 seconds.
Why? I'm not even close to the point. I thought to myself, I haven't even gone to her question yet. I asked myself, I thought to myself, this is my time. I'm going to kill it. Getting all the kids are grown, husband has gone. Guess what happened? Menopause. I was foggy brained. I couldn't concentrate, mood swings, the whole 9 yards. Ron, hold on, this is important. It's personal to me. It's really important.
Just hold it on.
I had to face the reality that women and men are not the same. Women cannot embark on a career in exactly the same way that men can. But in African culture, we were aware of this. And we built the kind of societies and civilization that made sure that no woman was in that position. But white women, thinking that they were helping us with getting equal to men, never understood this. They tried to get equality when what they really needed to get was equity. And
hold
that's
on to
what I
that
mean.
thought.
But
Hold on,
we'll
define equity and equality later on. Hold on to that thought. Okay, I think it's Buki this time around, Sister Buki. You're 3 minutes now.
Ron, you're really bad at this, honestly.
Yeah, so
Contrary to
Wait,
contrary
this
to
conversation is flowing and important, and that's when you suddenly remembered your time.
I've been
You
timing
should have remembered
everybody
that
now.
you didn't remember.
I timed
Now
her.
everything is flowing, you remember. Whatever.
I timed her.
contrary to what Bumi was saying, the idea of external help to the mother is not only relegated to Nigerian culture. There are many cultures across the world, Indian cultures, Asian cultures. Having a child is a very important event in every culture, and there are family that come and help. There are family members that come and help, the mothers, because it's an accepted thing. It happens in UK, America. Perhaps you can,
No,
the only
it
thing you
doesn't.
can,
No, it
the only
doesn't.
thing, excuse me, Bumi,
Don't lie
excuse me,
to me. You
Bumi,
know it doesn't happen in the
excuse
West
me,
like that.
it does. It does. I don't know what planet you're living on, yeah. But in other
My mother is
cultures,
white.
in
My mother
other
is English.
cultures,
Half
when
of me is English.
in
I know
other
our culture. We don't do that. When mother is dropping, they
Bumi,
like to come and sleep with their daughter for 5 minutes.
Bumi,
Bumi,
people are complaining in the comment section. People are
but it
complaining.
is true. In other cultures, they have their ways, their families, they come around, because having a baby in every culture is an important occasion, and families rally round to help, whether they bring food, whether mothers, grandparents, people generally get involved in the birth of a child.
You can
It is
hate
not
polygamy
a
without lying about
privilege.
what society
It is
is.
not
You're
a
trying to make it
privilege
fit
that is
into
just
what you think it
relegated
is. This
to
is not true. You
it's
know
not
it.
going to work,
man.
Ron. It really isn't going to work.
Mr.
It's
Ron.
not going to work, Ron. It's not going to work.
I'm going to
It's
address
not going to work.
it.
I'm quite happy to leave.
Wait, Bumi, please, Bumi, please. Let's stick to the rules, please.
it's
I
a
beg.
consequence.
Just do it for me. Okay, Sister Buki, continue.
Right. Whether we like it or not, men and women have been different since the dawn of time. And from that time, men have led. Men are the ones that built the world. All right. There is an order that was set in place by nature Okay. Now, that is not going to change. We're talking about 50-50 in a relationship. As I've said before, it's really the woman that loses out. But having said that, it is the women that have embraced this idea for themselves. They're the ones, because it wasn't men that were pushing for 50-50 or pushing for equality. It was women that pushed. And we are now at the stage where it is dawning on a lot of women that perhaps that wasn't the right thing. Why? Because they're the ones that are suffering more inside of that equation. So for that reason, 50-50
White
doesn't
women, white
work.
women,
And
not
it will,
black
and
women,
it will
and that's the distinction.
every
Not Indian women, not
every
any
woman
other
for
women.
me,
It was white
I
every
women
think
woman
I
for
pushing for
thought
me.
it
we
because
agreed. I
they
thought we
don't,
agreed,
they
you mean?
didn't do what we were doing.
At this rate, you'll just be the only person there. It's because of our friendship and how close we are that this is going on.
Okay, but you
This is not right. Hmm?
And network
It's,
is even.
it's not right. Hmm? Okay,
Um,
Okay, Omar, we continue. Continue.
Yeah, let me I want to buttress the points of Sister Buki, the fair Sister Buki. She mentioned a very cogent point that women uh, have in a kind of way they've cornered themselves to this present situation because they were the one clamoring for 50-50. If my husband is achieving this, it's not even only about contributions financially, but the point is a woman wants to, level up with a man's achievements. Women too are going places. They are getting degrees, they're getting PhDs, getting so many qualifications, assuming very very big positions in the society and all that. So we have carried that mentality, and that's where the issue of feminism comes from. We've carried that mentality, and but now that we have to balance all that up with, like what I said before, keeping the home. Because we might be saying we won't digress into religious facts, but the truth is we still have to mention it. When God created the world, when He created human beings, He created the man first. That alone is enough to tell you that God wanted the man to be the head, and that was why He made him first. If He wanted the woman to be the head, He wouldn't have made the man first. He would have made the woman first, and would have made the man out of the ribs of the woman. But no, He made the man first and made the woman out of the ribs of the woman. That's enough. Should have told us as women that we cannot be at par with a man, regardless of how many qualifications we may gather and all that. A man will always be a man. That's the truth. But I don't want to dwell on that religious aspect. What I want to buttress Sister Buki's points, where
Yeah,
she said
continue.
we clamored for this equality, gender equality, but now we are coming to the realization that it's really not working, because there are so many other areas of commitments. The commitments of a woman, especially a woman that is going to keep her home, is far much greater than the commitment of a man. Most men, the most a man would do is, provide for the family, make sure they have all they need. But it's not enough to provide. Somebody has to take charge of those provisions. Somebody has to see to the affairs of making sure that those provisions are properly made use of. There's a system that works. So the truth in all this matter is, whether we like it or not, a man and a woman, it is true, we cannot be the same. We cannot. Nature has not made us like that. We can never be the same, regardless of how much we clamor for feminism, this and that. And then when we now look at it from the African culture aspect, I am in complete agreement with Mr. Consequence. A man is the head of the house. And that is why I will not support 50-50. A man should contribute more, except in cases where maybe he's not financially up to it, then a woman has to step up. And like I said, when a woman is stepping up, in the African culture especially, it doesn't mean that you will now become a footmat for the man to step on. No. But at the same time, there is a tendency for a woman to feel that maybe I'm the one doing the greater responsibility, both financially and everything. There's a tendency, a natural tendency for her to feel the ego. But as a woman, you should always remember you are a woman. You're supposed to be under this. I won't want to say subjection, but you're supposed to be under the leadership of your husband. Your husband is supposed to be the head. So even if you are the one bringing more contributions, it should not be so obvious. It should just stay between you and your husband. You should still accord him the same respect you would give him if he was the one bringing in that much money. That is the African culture. That is how me I was trained. So I don't know. But if you are going by this Western culture that we are the same, we have the same qualification. You might be the man, might be my husband, but I have a qualification as much as you do. I earn as much as you earn. These things will bring content. It will always bring content. And that is where many people will tag women as feminists. So whatever point Sister Bumi is trying to make, well, she might have a point of view, but she's not putting it in the right way. And that is always going to put her in a very, very... The spotlight she will be might not be the same that everybody will support.
Okay. Well, thanks. You already exceeded your time. It was because I was trying to get.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of background work. I was trying to get everybody back, and
I'm sorry about that, Ron, but you know me, I can't do it. I just can't do it. No. Yeah, sorry about that.
Later on, we'll have that conversation. Don't worry. Let's just move past it. Then, yeah. So back to what we were saying. There's something we need to point out here, and we always have this confusion in most arguments, but I'll talk about it later on, where we always think that it's only Africans that like this headship thing, that maybe it's an African. There's that confusion.
It's a worldwide thing, actually.
It's worldwide.
It's a global thing.
Indian women will not be having the same conversation.
No. Chinese women, they're even more subservient than we are.
European women. See, guys,
how feminists are white women, really? Ask yourself.
See, you have to understand something, right? We have to understand something. Away from the ones that the mainstream media is pushing on your face, away from those ones that they are pushing on your face for a particular reason, behind those ones, go speak to white women, you will hear differently.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes you have to really leave social media poppings alone, and then look behind it, and then you see what is really going on. By the way, let me just clarify something real quick. I'm not a stranger to women or people having strong opinion. I do not have a problem with that. But my only problem is if your strong opinion is going to get in the way of other people expressing themselves to the point where then I'd rather leave the situation for you to just be there and express yourself. I've always, that's why I reminded Mr. Ron earlier on, can you portion the time so everyone get the time to express themselves? So when it
Yeah.
is your time and you choose to express yourself however you want to express yourself, I can deal with that. Okay, I honestly do not have a problem with you expressing yourself however you want to. However, allow other people to use their time. That was the problem I had a moment ago that caused me to leave. Because the sister had utilized more time speaking than everyone combined. And when the discussion was eventually timed, so we don't get to talk over each other, so we can listen to each other. Because the beauty of this type of conversation, in my opinion, is if we are speaking to listen to each other, perhaps we will
Mhm.
learn. But if we are
Yeah.
talking over each other and then we are not listening
Not
to
gonna
each
work.
other, we would end up not learning a thing. Then it turns into a shouting competition, which I'm unwilling to do. So that was just why I left. I didn't leave because there was there's nothing for me to worry about. At least I'm familiar with three people on here, Mr. Ron and my bookies. So I'm not afraid of engaging in conversations like this. But at least for the sake of the audience, let people hear each of our views and then make of it what they want. Now, to land my point, I think first and foremost, I know people love to hear this part, so let me throw it out there. Do whatever works for you, please. Okay? So let me throw it out there before I speak my mind. Do whatever works for you. Whatever works for your relationship and your life, please go on and do it. However, it is important for us to understand that the problem that people have with headship in marriage, I think, is a personal problem or misunderstanding of what a headship is and what marriage
Mm.
is.
Mm.
Headship in your marriage, okay, is not the same as how you live with other people, with everyone else in the streets.
Right.
Okay, headship between a woman and her husband is not saying to you to become is not saying, oh, take that to the street and be the same way you are with your husband with everyone else. So, and then there's this poor misconception or this misconception where people think headship means you have less value. No,
Mm.
both of you bring completion. You are not of less value. That is the problem.
It's a lack of
Yeah.
Another thing I
understanding.
see is people actually, I don't know if
Exactly.
people think headship
That's the
means
word. Lack
some
of
position of,
understanding.
It's a lack
do you
of
understand? I don't know if
understanding.
people
Mm.
think
Yeah.
headship means some position of comfort for you to enjoy. That is not what headship is. Responsibility. Yoruba people will say,
Exactly.
"Ọba tó dé adé lórí, kò mọ̀ pé òṣùká ìlú ló ń gbé lórí." The heavy is the
Mm.
head that wear the crown.
That's
Mm.
right.
Okay, heavy is the head
Right.
that wear the crown. Headship comes with heavy responsibility, and like I said earlier on, men are not designed to just be comfortable, kill themselves with Netflix and porn and then be comfortable. That is not what men, and that is the problem that men are having today. We have too much comfort. We get sex easily. We watch porn easily, Netflix and chill easily. This excess comfort is killing the drive, the passion, okay, that makes men.
But wouldn't you
So
say
that's
that
what
women
I'm
have
just going to say.
contributed to that? Wouldn't you say
What?
that women are, wouldn't you say that women have contributed to that with this 50-50 agenda? Because
Yeah.
what's the incentive? Yes, if you know that she's
Exactly.
going to go and do 50-50 and do half, why would he try any harder?
People need to understand that we are talking marriage.
Mm,
I think people, maybe we should go back to learning what marriage should be then to start with. We're talking marriage, like union, where you have left
Yeah.
your papa, I have left my papa and mama, you have left your papa and mama, you have even taken my name, we have come together trying to extend our, how do I call it? Extend our,
Lineage.
do you understand? So we do things, Jonathan, we do things that
Okay.
cause the marriage to function. 50-50 in one. Say, listen, but you know what? People who think 50-50 should be a thing are the same people who will say stuff like there can be no two captain in a ship. There
The
can be
sheep.
no two this thing. Because you understand that. Do you understand? You make that thing, but you come to marriage, you say, I don't understand. the 50-50 in itself, I don't, first and foremost, I don't even see how that is going to work in marriage. I don't see it as a healthy practice. I don't see how that works. I don't see who does the calculation. Because this is why I was asking question earlier on around what if a woman gets pregnant? So how do you share the 50-50? You carry the pregnancy for 4.5 months, and then she carries it for
Uh,
5. I don't understand the concept. I don't understand the way the 50-50 is supposed to be divided and then be. Do you understand? But we understand that. Let's get something clear, right? I think conditions can happen. Income can happen in such a way where you then start pouring into each other. Fine. But let's not plant it in our men's hearts that if you have the capacity to be the sole provider of your house, don't do it. Come and be doing 50-50 with your woman. It's problematic.
hmm.
It's a different thing that per condition you are unable to do it. But don't go into marriage saying, as I'm going into this marriage, do you know what I think it's even a poverty statement. I don't think Otedola is out there doing 50-50 with his wife. Doesn't make no sense. I think it's a poverty this thing. Otedola is not out there doing 50-50 with his wife. Dangote is not out there doing 50-50 with his wife. And I'm just using those ones just to create an there. So if you can make money on your own, okay, and make provisions for your family, why do 50-50 for crying out loud? Okay, so hold on. You are expecting the woman that you're doing 50-50 with to take your last name too, to abandon her family name and take your name. How? For what?
But Kelly, the thing is, it's women that push it. It's not men that push it. I don't believe it's men that push it. Inside of the marriage, it's the women that push it because they feel that
because they want gender equality.
they
Because
want to
they are
expand
clamoring for
themselves.
gender equality.
They feel that, being a housewife is not enough, being a mother is not enough. They want to have career, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a way that you go about getting what you want within that situation. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a way that you want. I'm now studying. I've gone back to study to get my qualification. My kids are a lot older. I made that sacrifice. I left work. I left school. That's how I chose to do it. Do you understand? It may not be the same for everybody, but it's about timing and but women, they want it all. They want it all, and they are the ones that put forward these ideas. And then what we have now, it's spilled out into every facet of society. We see in dating now, men want them to share the bill. They don't open the doors. They've made men to shrink back from viewing women as feminine, because women have been puffing themselves up that we are equals, we are the same as you, we have the same rights. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's the women that are pushing this agenda, not the men. That's just what I wanted to point out. We need to acknowledge that it's not like it's men saying, oh babe, you do 50. More of them now are agreeing. More of them are agreeing. They are saying, okay, no problem. And they're becoming lazy. They're becoming lazier.
How about the only? The only's recent marriage. I know one of them is a feminist, a staunch feminist, part of the UK coven. She's married to the only. Didn't you hear the story?
No.
Oh, it's so. Here's the thing: we are trying to feminize men and trying to make them feel that, and the 50-50 thing starts little by little. In fact, what am I even saying? It's out there already now. We are already raising a bunch of very selfish young boys. I feel sorry for millennium females getting married, because the boys that they are producing out there now. Oh
Man,
my
don't
goodness.
even
No
talk about
sense of
those millennial
responsibility.
kids, man.
No sense
Child.
of responsibility whatsoever. These are
They
boys
don't
that
want
were
any
raised,
commitments.
no commitment, no
Mm,
responsibility. These are boys
yeah.
that were raised by single moms. And
Mm,
we're sending them out into the community every day. And you know what's interesting? When such men always support all these feministic ideals in comment section, I see the way feminists rejoice and jump like somebody has done something nice. You can't even be in a relationship with such men. They are dangerous.
They don't want them.
Hmm.
They want the ones that are manly and masculine.
They don't want to date. They don't want to date the effeminate. They don't want to date the
No, they
feminine
don't.
guys. They want to
Hmm.
raise me. They want to tell my, oh, your feelings and your feeling. You have to tap into your feelings. You need to cry if you need to cry. Men were not designed to be crying in front of women. Men were not designed. No. I need to. Men were designed to fight with fellow boys. The training of boys. They must compete. That ruthlessness must be instilled in them from a tender age, because believe it or not, every boy grows up to become a head of a household.
Mm-hmm.
Every boy. Think about it. And okay, look at it this way. In most kingdoms, for you to become a king, part of the grooming is military training. It's in preparation of what is to come when when the crown is placed upon your head. So you're already rugged and trained, and you have all these contingency expectations as a king or a leader. Same thing as a boy. Stop telling me that boys don't need to do grading in school, and that the children should just write and be passed to the next class. No need for exam. That grading makes children feel competitive. Of course, in fact, especially boys. Boys have to be competitive. They have to be vicious with one another at that age. Because what is before them is not. You see young men committing suicide nowadays. They can't just tolerate basic things that men before their time have, weathered. They've chested and they've moved on. Now you have weaklings walking around everywhere. The slightest provocation is if they don't cry, they'll kill themselves, or they'll wail all over the internet and be crying digital tears on social media. And you think this is healthy? It's not healthy.
It's not.
It's
And
dangerous.
can we also include the alphabet issue, the ideologies that a lot of them are having to deal with now, which is automatically challenging their masculinity anyway, where they are being encouraged to question their masculinity. That also plays a
Hmm.
part into it.
I need to find the person who invented the word toxic masculinity. I need to have a serious long conversation with that person. I really need to. Because what you're calling toxic masculinity is actually a main component of being a man. Now, here's the thing. We are not advocating that a husband should bully his wife. That is not what we are saying. Nobody is saying that. Even me that I'm speaking, I've 7 years, I've never hit my wife one day. I don't do that. You're not supposed to do that as a man. That's not part of being a leader. Having to do physical
It's not part
control.
of being a leader, but let's also remember that some women are pushing men into
No,
corners that they shouldn't be
I'll
in.
address that. The reason why this is existing in our society is that the people who are trying to create this problem have come up with very foolish and idiotic principles of it doesn't matter under no cause or under no guise should so and so happen. I'll tell you why it's dangerous. There are many reasons a human being can be pushed over the edge and the person will react. We can't predict people's behavior. Now, the government can enact a law and say, "Oh, Kelly should not slap me. If Kelly slap me, it's classified under assault, and he's going to bear the charges." Right? It's in the law. But does that mean that I should go and poke Kelly's eyes and hope that he will be fearing the law because the law is not there? He won't react. He's going to react, and this is why I don't believe that anybody should be hitting. I don't believe that a woman should not hit a man, and a man should not hit a woman.
Mr. Kelly,
Can you hear me?
did you try to bring her back? Did you talk to her behind the scene?
Who is that? Who is that?
The lady.
Bully.
No, she's driving. Maybe when she gets to her destination.
Oh, okay.
But she's watching anyway. She's watching. So
okay.
let's
The reason why I'm saying that is we all here, we are tinting towards the same thing, saying we are all against the idea of 50-50, right? I would have loved her to still be on the show if she would be able to allow other people to talk. The reason is the Bible says one will chase 1,000, and I believe that Bumi is she's a stronghold too. So with her belief, with her ideology of 50-50, and with the ideology of equality, I want to believe that she influences one or two persons every day, that if she has a platform. So I would have loved her to be on the show and reason with us too. Maybe she'll be able to pick one or two
She's
things.
watching.
And okay.
She's watching.
Sincerely, I want to try to be objective here. And I'm not trying to talk down on anybody, and I'm not trying to be rude to anybody. But I will tell you that most of the people that I've listened to that are fighting for the 50-50, they are mostly people who have experienced one bad marriage or relationships or the other.
Yeah.
Most of the people that I've listened to. And you know what? I get their frustration. You know, maybe when they were married, they were maltreated, they're trying to deal with the trauma, and you know, they are coming back to say, no, why should I be the only one doing everything? And at the end of the day, you just want to bring money. Then
before you go further, I wish I knew you were going to come up with this. There's actually a study showing that most people in that feminist movement either were directly hurt, right, or their mothers were hurt and transferred the hatred onto them.
It's
So
mostly like that.
I saw the report. Was it last week? I wish we're going to. If I had known we were going to discuss this, I would have brought this up, because this thing we are discussing is not as simple as it seems. It's quite complicated, and most people will have to go through therapy or whatever mode of counseling they have to go through to get over this. Because if you Bumi is just one person, you need to see where other feminists they will enter the screen and fight you. It's not this thing I'm talking about. Bumi is even nice. You need to see where real feminists are fighting. You really need to see it. So it's something that, and if it is not affecting the society, I'm sure nobody will be bothering them. They'll just allow them to be. Do you choose the guy that wants to tolerate your feminism? It's okay. Every human being has a right to pair bond with his or her likes. But please always remember that you are responsible for the outcome of your choices. Don't do something and expect that, oh, tomorrow everybody should come around you and pity party with you. It's not going to happen. If you make a bad choice or you make a bad decision, you will bear the consequences by yourself. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. I can hear you.
Yeah, you will bear the consequences by yourself. So it's easy for us to keep making rules. And that's why I use the Oba and the Hailers. Listen, men by definition, being the part of masculinity is ego. And I don't know how come she missed that part. That just the main.
It's clearly a personal perspective. It's clearly coming from a personal place. It's coming from a personal place. Let's just leave it at
that. So the main concept that somebody is a man, masculine traits, part of masculine traits is ego. And that's why and I hate to do this, even in scriptures, I don't like doing it in public space, but I have to say it. Even in scriptures, the command for man and woman is different. Men, love your wives. Women, honor thy husband. Now, they didn't just stop at love your wife or man. They say, I'll be willing to lay your life the way Christ laid his life for the church. Which means they're already telling me that, just like Kelly pointed out, that in Ukraine, men said, protect women and children. Let them protect them while we go and fight. That is what scriptures ask of me, that as a man, I should lay my life down for my wife and children. That's the standard. So are you going to take a weakling man? Do you think a weakling man is going to sacrifice his life for you? when the
But
chips
they
are
don't
down.
care about that because they don't value the provide and protect. Why? Because they feel that they are contributors. Do you understand? In order for it to make sense to a feminist, they would need to understand in the first instance the whole value of provide and protect in a man. That value is eradicated when the 50-50 thing is in play, because it means that both are on a level playing field. So they can't, this is why there is the friction. This is why the idea of a man being head is very irritating. Yes, because they don't have an understanding of the value of a man. They feel they know their value, which is kind of ironic, because if you know your value, then you would allow your man to lead. If you understand your value, you would allow the man to do what he's supposed to do, and you would have a better husband if you allow him to be what he's supposed to be, as opposed to, do you understand? So it's for me, listening, it's all a lack of understanding. And also what Sister Ibis is saying is that it's coming from a place of personal hurt, people that have been through those experiences. Is women that go through stuff like that embrace feminism the hardest. They really embrace it, and it's to their detriment. That's just the bottom line. It's to your detriment.
And the marriage is what is suffering for it, and men and women are
Yes.
getting hurt from it. As a
Yeah.
consequence of all this wahala, marriage is suffering for it. Men and women are. Do you know how people are going into marriage right now? We're going into marriage as if we're hunting to see who comes out on top. And this is what I mean by that. We are no longer really going into marriage as union for future purpose. Okay, it is just
Mm.
okay. We're going to go into marriage. Whatever happen. And with that in mind, when I know that, oh, do you know that once upon a time, the very fear of losing you as my wife alone holds me to, do you understand? Make me to sit up. The very fear of you losing me as your husband cause you to even want, do you understand? Was something very special. Today we are no longer afraid of losing each other. Pata pata, everybody go going way.
No.
Do you understand that kind of thing? Now
Mm.
let me tell you something. As a consequence of this 50-50, guess what is happening to women? Women are starting to overwork themselves. And they are compensating for that, okay, by getting rich, self-made. But now the problem is that we're seeing then is this does not have to apply to all women, by the way, but it's a pattern that I'm seeing, and I may be wrong, but it's a pattern I'm saying. Women are getting to overwork themselves to make money so that they can live on their own terms and condition only.
Condition. Hmm.
But we all know that in living in your own terms and condition, in a very
Sorry. Kelly,
hyper,
1 second. 1 second. Omawumi, sorry, I sent you the correct link. You posted the wrong one.
Wow.
I've just sent you the
Oh,
correct one. Sorry. Continue, Kelly.
okay. All
so,
right.
but guess what? We still need, at least if you don't need marriage, you will need sex.
As in,
Okay? So somehow, no matter how we then relegate marriage to the background, we're still trying to knack. So
yes,
what then happened? We knack, and something will happen. You either going to catch pleasure, catch disease, or catch pregnancy. One must happen to you. There's no
try.
escaping it. You will either catch pleasure, catch disease, or catch pregnancy. So what then happened? What then happened? Oh well, I can do it by myself. Okay, good, sure. So then you go on to do it by yourself after you catch pregnancy. If you didn't catch disease, by the way, in the long run, the machine will break down. It's going
Yes,
to take a toll on us mentally. Do you see? Do you see the level of successful women having mental breakdown these days? Have
yes,
you
and
really looked into it?
lamenting,
Proper
lamenting. Yeah.
mental breakdown.
Mm.
No,
Because
they
what
are unhappiest moments in history.
we are over medicated, over bombarded with so many things that causes anxiety and stress, and then when we add that up with all this problem that we're bringing upon ourselves, over working ourselves and this thing, we know is going to take
Oh,
a toll
wow.
on the mental state.
He's very
So the
serious, to be
concept in
honest.
itself is very dangerous. It's a
One
Mm.
concept
second.
that
Keep talking.
is a
Keep
concept
talking.
that I think is created. Men too. The problem is there.
Yes,
Because
it's both
we have
ways.
to really understand something, right? This might hurt, but I'll tell you guys something. No matter how you choose to see it, in every civilization that you can think of today, men built the world that we live in.
Facts. There's no
If
denial.
you
Why
are
would
hot, you
anybody
are
even
hot.
argue with that? I don't
Okay,
understand.
and I can tell you for free, the only reason why you can enjoy industrial civilization today was because men built the world that we live in today. You
It's
can get
true.
angry if you want to. Once
It's
upon a
true.
time, okay, when men were hunting buffaloes on barefoot, they had to protect their women and tell their women, stay home, let me go hunt. But I'm going to come back home to this feminine compliment. Okay, I'm going to
Mm.
come back home to this feminine compliment that gives me the comfort after all my struggle in the world. So women were never less important. Do you know how depressed men will become without women? Do you know how suicidal men will become without women? Do you
Mm.
know how useless and unambitious men would become without women? So we complement each other, we complete each other. But the problem is that people have, and I understand why, because yes, there have been cases, but these cases is not the standard. There have been cases where men took advantage of this so-called headship thing or the headship thing,
Hmm.
all right, in
Yeah.
mistreated. But these men are not the okay. So instead of fighting this unnecessary war, why don't we just educate these men on what headship is? Because oftentimes men also go into marriage thinking headship means you have to deal with your wife the way you are dealing with your workers in the in your place of work. That is
Mm.
not what headship is. So I understand the fear and the concern of some women, but what we should do is investigate the problem and then discuss how to find a solution on the part of the men and on the part of the women instead of trying to argue what I don't see where how that argument benefit us. And that's why when the sister said earlier on that in Yoruba there is no hierarchy, I was like, what are you talking about? I can't even think of any tribe more
Mm.
hierarchical than Yoruba. And interestingly, she's from Ondo and I'm from Ondo too, and she sounds like she's from Ondo town. So no matter how we choose to see it, so we can sit all here today, and discuss
So,
because now we can work from home. Now we can
Kelly,
work from home. I wish they can take us back to the days that people were hunting tiger. How many of you are women today who want to go to war? We want to volunteer to go to war if war happens today. Because let me tell you something, the possibility of war is still very high.
yeah,
War can happen.
definitely.
It's
Definitely.
been 2 years since I was telling people that if care is not taken, then Nigeria will become Somalia. Do you see Somalia happening to Nigeria already at the fast rate?
Mm.
Are you looking at the dollar exchange? Now there's food
Mm.
shortage in sight. There's this game they are playing with their Naira nonsense. Something is going to hit Nigeria so severely that, hey,
Haven't they joined the BRIC nation though? I heard a rumor that they're joining the BRIC nation to back
uh,
their currency with gold. No? Okay, sorry. Um, I
go on,
wanted to
Sister Buki,
ask
you want to say
you. I
something?
wanted to ask you, gentlemen, about the influence of the West.
yeah.
Yes, the 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 more our people exit and taste abroad, can we say that that is a very large contributing factor because they then feed that mentality back to the people that are at home and also make them feel that they are under some greater bondage back at home because they don't have this liberty of thinking that they do in the West?
Yeah. Okay. Let me allow Kelly. Kelly, go for it.
Sister Buki, by default, the average unaware Nigerian, I don't want to say African. Let me speak to Nigeria since I am from Nigeria. By default, the average unaware Nigerian is a conquered person who, even if they are not publicly, openly admitting it, is a person who has conceded superiority and everything else to the West. Now, they didn't just concede technological superiority, they also concede cultural superiority, moral superiority, sociological superiority to these people. By default, we can say for sure that today, technologically, they are superior than Nigeria. We can't
Mm.
argue. I'm sure who will tell you the way it is. Our fault, by the way. But culturally, you see, let's see, we move from the Bronze Age to the age of industrialization. Okay, from age of industrialization, we move into the age of technology. Okay, from the age of technology, we move into the age of information. From the age of information, we are now dealing with, then we move into the age of spirituality.
Artificial
I hope you're
intelligence.
taking note, Mr. Ron. Okay,
Artificial intelligence.
so we move to the age of superiority. From the age of superiority, right now we are in the age of, Mr. Ron, do you know?
Um, that's what I was saying. Artificial intelligence. I don't know how to pronounce.
Spirituality.
Identity,
Huh?
identity,
Oh, okay.
identity. So industrial age, all right, technological age or technology age, information age, spiritual age, and then identity. Right now, I know what is sad. We have considered even our identity. You know, and the worst thing you want to give up on is your identity.
We've lost
Because
it.
if you give up, okay, on your identity, you will take on any identity that you see available to you, and that is what is happening to us today. We have given up our identity, which goes with our culture, okay, which goes with our foundation. So we're adopting from these people anything that they say. When I see people, an African person speaking about marriage and then they are using some certain standard, I'm looking like, okay, what is going on? You think these people have, don't you know everybody, every class, every race has unique problem, their own unique problem that they must adopt unique approach to. So yes, the West, I know what, Sister Buki, they are they are looking at the propaganda West,
Mm.
the ones that are prop up to be on the TV, the ones that want to tell you that it is okay for you to not know that when you carry pennies, you're a man. Those are the ones that they are looking at, because those are the, we remember what I said. It is we've just passed the age of information, and we're bombarded with this plenty information, right, Sister Buki? The information was too much. So, but the information that made it to the media are information that are unhealthy for us. So we fed into it. But Sister, I'm telling you, as someone who belongs to so many groups, away from those people that they are plastering on the TV for, Sister Buki, when you speak to white people, okay, behind the scene, they still tell you headship. They tell you the value of marriage right now. They still tell you headship.
Absolutely. I live among them. Mm.
When you speak to white people behind all these people that they are plastering on TV, they still tell you their take on abortion. But when you look at these ones that they have to put on the screen for an agenda, those are the ones that we are looking at, because, like I said, we no longer do in-person socialization. We socialize on social media right now. So whatever you are saying in your feed becomes your reality. Just repeat it long enough. Anything that you can succeed in repeating long enough will become people's reality if they are not conscious enough.
Mm-hmm.
So when they propagate all this thing and plaster it on the media also, and they keep repeating it, we are buying into it. We are buying into it, and then it's becoming our reality. So yes, the West has a huge factor. And here is the problem, Sister Buki. Before I drop it for someone else, even the things that the West are starting to drop, we are starting to wear it. The things that they are starting to give up. Even the so-called feminist thing is declining in the West, but it's growing in
Mm-hmm.
our own part.
Yes.
When the sun sets somewhere, the sun will rise in another place. So the sun
Yes.
is setting on so many things there. Imagine we are starting to do Housewife of Atlanta. That was a useless show that
Yes.
people are starting
It's
to wake
true.
up to and condemn. We are already starting to do it in Nigeria.
And Big Brother,
They
where they
did one
don't.
useless one in Lagos, and then they did another useless one in South Africa recently. Do you understand? So those
Yes.
things that they are starting to drop over there, we are starting to. And you
Yeah.
know what? This is part of identity crisis. Because when a
Hmm.
Yeah.
man can no longer find a reason, okay, when a man can no longer find the reason, they'll just pick up anything.
And so many of them in dresses. So
Do you
many of
understand?
them picking up dresses. So
I
many
opened
black
my I
men in
opened my
dresses.
Instagram.
That dressing is the worst part. As in, you
I
see
opened
them. Look at
I opened
the
my Instagram.
recent premiere of Wakanda Forever. Even the
Yes.
actors that acted the film, they
It
were
does a
normally
lot,
dressed. They were not overdressed. Look at our Nigerian actors and actresses. They were overdressed. As in, I was now like, what is the craziness behind copying this dress from this
Meanwhile,
culture of
they
dressing?
didn't employ them to act in the movie. Oh. They didn't act in the movie.
They did not act. They were just invited for the premiere, for the movie premiere. And that's always what they do. They are always overdressing. And I'm like, and there's so many youths, so many people are looking up to these actresses and, they want to
Yeah,
copy
so
their lifestyle.
let me thank God you brought this up. You know the problem? The problem is that we are the only race right now in the world that has no leadership. Like black
No.
people don't have leadership. We follow sportsmen and celebrities for leadership.
Yes,
We are the
celebrities.
only race in this world right now
Mm.
doing that. Other people have
That's
leaders in
terrible.
their like you see the J people, they have leadership. You see white people, they have leadership. You see Asians, Arabs,
Mm-hmm.
Japanese, Indians, they all have leadership. Even Latinos, they have people they look up to draw inspiration, leadership. We are the only ones fashioning our lifestyle
After
around
celebrities.
celebrities and sportsmen. And you guess what? These people are usually not the brightest in the basket.
Come on. They give
Yeah, they
they
are
give
not always the
the worst
brightest.
advices. They give the worst lifestyles. I mean, ah,
They are usually not the
I would
brightest. So
disagree a little bit there, Brother Ron. I would disagree a little bit there. The celebrity culture is impactful in every culture. People just follow celebrities. I mean, that's what's given the rise of Kim Kardashian. Look at what people are doing to themselves today
no, that's
because
not what
Kim
I
Kardashian.
mean. That's not what
Wait,
I
wait,
mean,
wait.
Sister Buki.
Wait,
That's
wait,
not
wait,
what I
wait. It's the same. It's the same kind of principle. It's the same kind of principle. There are plenty good leaders in the West, but they don't have the influence that Kim Kardashian does. They don't.
no,
Do you understand?
well,
So it's. I think
ours is special in the sense that now
I would say
even
ours is more prominent, but it's a condition that is afflicting the entire human race, everybody. But ours is more prominent. I would agree with that.
all right. Hmm.
Bukola,
But
what's
it's
making
just
you
once you let
that?
Bobrisky in, that was it. Once Bobrisky started showing, that was it.
So
Because there's so many of them now.
at the end of the day, the social construct is very, very strong in this society, influencing us daily.
Yeah.
Um, and that is why I want to glorify God for most of the platforms that I listen to, and just like this one that I'm in right now. People need to understand that whatever you consume daily,
Yeah,
you subconsciously you become that thing.
That
that's
You
right.
thing.
know,
Yes.
because
Right.
this is what you consume daily, this is what you talk
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
about, this is what you
Yeah.
become at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So the narrative that we all should all be painting in our society right now is what we've started doing. But then, how do we get this thing circulated to the world? Because from what I'm seeing is like the people that we are fighting against are actually more powerful than us, and they've got bigger platforms. I
They're
see
much more
something on
influential.
Kemified. Yeah, I see something. I read something on Kemi Olunloyo. I don't agree with that woman. I don't. But she made this point, and I was like, oh, that's true. Look at what happened to Tiwa Savage sometimes ago when she released a
Yeah.
sex tape. See, they said she released it. Some people said, okay,
Was
she claimed she didn't do it on purpose. But I was so surprised to see that one of her song is coming out. They probably blasting it recently, where she's
mm-hmm.
saying singing about it, saying,
It's a
sex,
collabo with
whatever.
Ashake. She did a collabo with Ashake.
With Ashake, okay.
They just released the song about 2 days ago.
Wow.
She was
Yeah, and she
bragging
was
about
talking
that
about it.
the tape made her to blow.
Yeah,
You can
invariably, you
imagine.
are telling people, and look at a couple of people have actually done that after she released her own sex tape. And at the end of the day, I saw so many people saying, I stand with Tiwa, I stand with Tiwa, I stand with Tiwa, which simply means they are empowering others. And, you know, Auxiliary Day, what's his name? He released his
Bukola,
Excellent.
before you become sorry, Bukola, before you become upset, I need to let you know something. Out of the 100% of population of human beings in every society, just know this and know this. 75% are usually not. They don't have strong will.
They're not
They don't
mentally stable.
no, mentally stable is an extreme.
Yeah.
They are
I'm saying
morally
they are
bankrupt. Morally
no,
bankrupt.
Okay.
it's not
Moral
no.
bankruptcy, you're right. That's
It's,
much
But
more
let's be
relevant.
honest. If you look at
it's
the
not
basis
no,
of everything that is sorry to cut you, Ron. If you look at the basis of everything that is happening, why we have such an epidemic of nonsense everywhere is because people are morally bankrupt. They don't care for morals. They
that's what
don't
I'm
care
trying.
for God. They don't care for and the will of the person has exceeded the will of the community. So far as they do you and they do how you want to do, you don't care about anybody else. And that is a very, very destructive mentality because we are a group. Nobody is
An island.
prosperous by themselves. You understand? Yes, my
It's
sister.
part of the
We are
social
supposed to
engineering
function as
now.
a group. And
Yeah.
there are benefits and skills that we develop that enrich us as human beings when we learn cooperation, when we learn consideration, all those things. It's all gone. It's all gone.
No, you know why I was pushing back with that? I think generally 75% of the public don't have a mind of their own.
Their
And because they don't
own.
have minds of their own, they are like blank slates, ready to be influenced. Like anything you
By
socially engineer
anything.
upon them,
Yes.
they will swallow it. Anything
Follow.
you throw at them, they will consume it because they don't have a mind. I started noticing this in secondary school because me too, I started becoming different. Like when I see people running in one direction, I'm always the one like, why are you people doing this? We don't know. We're just doing it because it's a tradition. We'll just do it. But don't you think about why you should be doing it? And I've always had that mindset. But I realized as I grew older that that mindset is the mindset of almost 75% of the general populace. Any song that comes out, they will not investigate the lyrics, they will not pay attention, they'll just
They
swallow it.
just dance to
Any
the
movie
beat.
that comes out, the only
Mm-hmm.
time in history, something happened in the human race last month, the only time in history, Woman King movie. I was shocked that human beings could come together and reject the movies. I never believed it would happen in my lifetime. When I saw the movie coming out, I thought it was going to be a smash hit. Everybody will watch it, go and watch it 10 times. I was surprised how everybody just stood up and said, you know what, enough is enough. We are not doing
Yeah,
this
but
with you.
there's a war on women at the moment from the trans community. So anything that edifies the idea of the woman, they're going to shut it down.
Sorry, who empowered them? Sorry, wait, let's get to the bottom of this. Who empowered them?
And
Wait,
now
wait.
it's feminism. Feminism led the way.
The main fact that they're existing in our society is because of who?
It's
Because of
feminism
women.
now.
Because
There
of
was a
women.
video. Okay, next week I'm going to play a video. There's a video of Virgin Air where they said that now gender binary people are going to be air hostesses, right? Just imagine you're sleeping in your first class chair. Then a guy wearing skirts will come and be serving you mid-air. No place to escape to. So you have to chill and smile and accept, right? But here's the thing. We are complaining. The reality of the matter is that men will complain, but at the end of the day, women are the ones going behind to go and enable and encourage these things. So what do? We just have to sit and watch.
The
If men
feminist.
boycott Virgin Atlantic, right, women will be the first to populate that airline. It's okay. It's fine. It's in touch with his femininity. his feelings. He feels like that, and to them, you feel that somebody is joining your club. You don't know the danger. You're endangering your existence, your being as a woman by enabling it. Now, women cannot participate in combat sports again because the law says that they are biological. So if you enter boxing with person maybe with can grow as man for secondary school, come become woman. Too bad for you. They are going to break your jaw.
But the
Now,
blowback is on everybody, though, Ron. The
how?
blowback is on everybody because you men now, you have to worry about your fellow men that look just as good as we do. You don't even know the difference.
I'm married now, so I don't have that problem. I'm already married,
But
so
you know what I
good luck.
mean?
Good luck to those of you who want to travel to Atlanta, San Francisco, Rio de Janeiro, and what Pattaya, that's Thailand. For those of you who want to visit those places, good luck to you. Me, I'm married. I don't have that problem.
The thing is it's impossible, and the more people push it away, the more clear it is to me. It is impossible to push away the Bible when we consider the day and age that we are living in. It's impossible. The more people try, the more we try to push it away, so leave religion out of it, this, that, and the other. Religion is something different, but the Bible and the teachings of the Bible is just everything is in there about what we're experiencing now. And the solution to what we're experiencing now is also in there, but we're not paying attention. People don't want to pay attention to it. The minute you start bringing God into the conversation, oh, why religion, hate for religion. And that is the source of the problem. People have moved away from God, godliness, godly mindedness, because logic is a godly thing. Being logical, having common sense is actually a godly thing. It's difficult to separate. To me, anyway, it's difficult to separate the two.
You see,
How long are we going on for, Brother Ron?
is it? I don't think there is. Do you know that over time, some of the people that say some of the craziest thing about God, especially when the attack is channeled towards the Bible, it usually turns out that they've never picked up the book to study it.
Mm.
Because oftentimes when I have conversation with these people, some of the questions I immediately ask them is, have you ever read it? I'm not talking about when you read one verse out of context. Have you ever
Yes.
studied the book itself? Because if you study the book, I don't see where your problem is. Because interestingly, many of the principles and teachings listed in the text is still better than what you have today.
Facts.
And I don't want to make this about religious discussion, but I've said this before. The United States of America Constitution borrowed from the Bible.
Yes.
They had the Bible as the focal point in drawing how they wanted to write the Constitution that guides the United States of America.
Yes. Motto is in God we
With the
trust.
UK, the same. Because the Magna Carta is derived from the biblical principles, and the Constitution of UK was derived from the Magna Carta as well. The same. So, but the problem is that people don't understand that trying to throw away the text in its entirety is just because we want to be our own God, which is what we are hearing people say today.
Yep.
And what does it mean for you to be your own God? It means that you are not answerable to any entity outside of you. And what does that mean? Which means I can do whatever it is that I want to do because that is what God does. And we are seeing how that is turning out for us today, by the way. Not turning out so great. But yeah, Often it turns out then that I think the attack is just for selfish reason anyway, because the test holds us accountable a lot. Thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not
Yeah,
bear false witness, thou shalt not covet your neighbor, thou shalt
don't
not
want
no, thou shalt not
accountability.
steal, thou shalt not steal. These are the things that we do to make ourselves happy. Thou shalt not fornicate. We love to
Yeah,
fornicate, tire. Thou shalt not commit adultery. We love to commit adultery, tire. So I think the problem that people have against the test is mostly because the test is calling us out on our BS.
facts.
Except for
This is
those who
it.
say it is the test that they used to come and enslave our ancestors.
Yeah.
Mr. Ron, is there a question from the audience that we need to attend to? But I'm not sure how long we're going to be here for.
Where's Mr. Ron Seth?
He left actually. You didn't notice it?
He keeps going out and coming back in, so I
Oh,
don't. He's probably having. Do you know I didn't recognize you, Ibis? I didn't recognize you.
oh,
That's why I
because I
didn't
have
greet you when we first came on. And it was only when I heard your voice. You know, your voice is very distinctive. I said, "Oh, Sister Ibis."
this is my hair.
Little
Yeah.
one not feeling well.
Sorry.
The little one not feeling well.
Oh, everyone, we've been on it for quite some time.
Hey, yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
It's not easy. I remember those days.
Not easy.
Little ones, not easy.
I don't work.
All the more reason. What do you want to do 50-50 for? For goodness sake.
Don't
Just
know.
see the walk.
I think it's post-trauma. I don't want. I'm trying to avoid some terms here so that you don't come for me. But I can tell you that it's post-trauma. Trust me. Most of this, we cannot shy away from the fact that some men have really abused this
Of course.
thing, and from what Sister Bumi even said, you will see that she has had her own quota of this
Yes.
thing, and they
Yes.
just come out strong, like, no, I don't want my daughter to go through this, and that's what the problem is. I don't want this to go through this. So they come back fighting in that, no, we are equal, we are the same. But these guys, they need to understand that we are not, and I was trying to bring out a point. Mr. Ron cut me short there. He said we're trying to imitate the Western world, and at the same time, she's fighting 50-50. And I was like, there is something that it's not balancing up here, because if we are not trying to imitate the Western world, if we are to hold on to our culture makes them the head.
That's right.
So where is the 50-50 coming from?
Yes.
What exactly are we fighting for? You wanted to say something, Mr. Ron?
You're very right about that. Very,
Yeah.
very right.
Oh, yeah, that's
Mr. Ron, why are you speaking up and down now, Mr. Ron?
But the
If there
problem,
is
though,
comment,
Ibis,
if there are questions from the audience, please let's deal with it so I can
the
bounce.
problem, Ibis, is that if we don't, I've been hurt in marriage twice, you understand? But I made the decision to approach my life differently. If we don't, as women that have been through these situations, if we don't learn how to to speak to the younger generation of women. Yes,
Yeah.
because if we come from a place of emotion, we can't be taken seriously. What we are actually doing is only reaffirming that point of view of crazy woman that they already, have painted.
Does us to be.
Yeah, so it's important that with these issues, because God has given us the ability to win men over by the way we speak, by the way we conduct ourselves, you can win someone over. The Bible says that a soft answer turns away wrath. So that tells me how you speak to somebody, you can actually win them over. And I think that's where perhaps, I would encourage Sister Bumi we all need work, definitely, but all I just felt was emotional energy. And there's a lot of women that have not learned to use their pain, repackage it. Not that you get rid of, you understand? Repackage them, put it like a bullet inside the gun, aim well, and fire it at the right place. You understand? Rather than just scatter machine gun all over the place. It makes things worse. It makes things harder for those of us that are trying to promote that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
she's sounding. I really want her back. I don't know. I would have loved to, allow her engage in this conversation, because I can tell you for sure that even with the way she's ready to fight back, she's ready, she's not allowing anyone to talk. To me, I think she has a lot on her mind that she's trying to bring out, which is okay. But I can tell you that it's from a place of hurt. It's from a place.
For
It's
me,
all
it's always like that.
yeah.
It's not just today. That's just how she is. That's her personality, though.
Okay, I think I'm.
Both of you can be right
But
at this.
she depends which day you get her on, though. Sometimes she's lovely and funny, but I
Oh,
think this thing is a trigger for her.
it is.
You know, like cheating is a trigger for me. Just don't do that to me. You understand?
Yeah.
But yeah, we all have our triggers.
You know, I was saying something. I was on, I think it was Mr. Consequence Live one time, and I was saying, using the word submission is a trigger for some people. And I said, anytime I engage in conversation and people book appointment with me to talk about relationships, because I know that anytime you use the word trigger, every other thing, use the word submission, every other thing that you have to say, they're not going to listen to you. So I don't come from the angle of, oh, submission. There are other ways I can respect
Sorry, I
your
forgot to introduce you. I forgot to introduce you as. Oh, my apologies. Next time when
You,
you come,
this your
I'll formally
introduction
introduce
after.
you know, after
you.
2 hours, 16
That's okay.
minutes.
I will soon round up. I just remembered I didn't do so. I'm really sorry.
No, that's
Uh,
okay.
Well, you
Bukola,
live and you learn. It's a first show, but
Bukola
it's
is
been
actually
interesting, though.
a trained psychologist, right?
Well,
Psychologist
I'm still in
and a
training.
relationship coach.
I'm
Yeah,
not
and a
done.
relationship coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
With all
I said I don't like to come with the word submission first, because I'm not going to get the positive results that I'm aiming at. So I use the word. They want to hear the word value. They want to hear the word respect, but they don't want to hear the word submission. But at the end of the day, it still plays out to be, when you value a man, when you respect a man, you're still, there is a level of submission that you will give to that man if you respect him and you see him as the head of the home, right? But I don't go straight using the word submission, because I don't know how people hate this word so much. I know it's been abused, it's been overflogged. I understand that, but sometimes when we talk about relationships, marriages, the word submission will surface, the word respect will surface, respect will come in. This 50-50 and feminism of a thing would come in, but we need to always calm down and listen to what other people have to say. And the reason why they are saying 50-50 is not going to work, it has never worked. There is a lady in London. I think she's a feminist, and according to them, they all listen to her. She has a lot to say about marriage, but she's a feminist. So when something happened between she and the husband, she didn't come online to tell them that her marriage is packed up, right? Because she was afraid she was going to lose people. So if you're still at that cage of trying to be, you're afraid because you don't want to lose people, then there is something that you're not doing right. Because if you're doing it right, you can come out and let them know that, well, it didn't work in my relationship, we are over and we are over. So there is something about this 50-50 that maybe they're not even explaining, or they're not understanding themselves. Because I see this 50-50 idea as a traumatic thing for them. Something, it's like a trigger. I have something that is hurting me, something that is biting me, and I'm ready to fight. And that's what this fighting is all about. We are all the same. I don't have to be the one, to do chores. Somebody will come to my DM. I don't want to mention her name. I don't know if she's here. She pushes all manner of video to me, fights. Eh?
I can't invite her here. Don't worry, she can't be here.
Oh, okay. You know who I'm talking about.
Time ago.
Yeah, she's always telling me, no, I should stop talking about gender, we are all equal, blah blah blah, and which is okay. But then you should think two eyes. If this thing never worked for you, do you think it's going to work for your daughter that you're training in that aspect? But it will not work. Look at everything is changing.
You see, I'm of a slightly different perspective in terms of I don't mollycoddle people. I don't. I'm not going to pick a word that is nice to suit your sensibilities and make you feel comfortable and make you feel valued. If the Bible says submission, that's the word I'm going to use. You need to ask yourself what your problem is with the word.
Submission.
You need to ask yourself, what is your problem with the word? Yeah, because the word is not doing anything to you. It's just a word. But why does it inspire that kind of reaction? We have a world where everybody is wrapped in cotton wool. Everything is judgment. Don't speak the truth. Don't offend me. Everybody is going to be offended by something. And at the end of the day, the only thing that is going to keep us on a straight path is the truth. You don't have to like it. It's a bitter pill to see. It's not meant to be sugar. You have to deal with it. So I
But here's the
appreciate people like you because obviously there needs to be a balance in life. But for me, I don't have that time to waste, Ibis. You understand? I don't have that time to waste.
that is another
I
thing you
don't.
should understand is that while she was the other lady was arguing leadership, we are equal, there's no leader and everything.
Yeah.
The mere fact that you're even thinking about all these silly ideas shows that you don't understand what leadership is about. The mere fact that the idea is in your head, right? And you genuinely believe it, it just explains why society don't place your gender in leadership roles. I don't know if you understand where I'm going. It's
Yes.
common sense because the people before us understood. Okay, this is the social strata. In order to maintain sanity, this is like since the feminist movement started and started first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth. You see all the people they've carried along in their coaster bus. You see inside the coaster bus because for some reason guys just decided to indulge them and said, "Okay, do whatever you like. Let's see how far this thing will go." And this thing is going to continue to listen. Women are the are free. There's no time in history where women are freer than now, ever
Yep.
in civilization. This is the freest time for women. This is the most empowered moment in history for any women ever in history. Yet women are the happiest. We are in a generation of the unhappiest women in history. And when you tell them that this is the they'll say, no, our mothers were just tolerating marriage, that they were suffering, and that we are the ones that were not suffering, we are the ones that the woke ones. And I was saying, if a woman is not expecting a certain, if you don't have a certain expectation and it doesn't come to you, will you miss it? You
Mm-mm.
won't. So now it's not going to rob you of your happiness because you're happy where you are in your position. Now you've decided to aim higher. You're aiming for the sky. Nobody's stopping you. Go shoot for the sky. What happens when you get the stars and you have nowhere to land at the end of the day?
It's a big problem. It's a really big problem. The problem with men and women, just society at large, is massive. And I Ujon Atom, when I think about 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, what is knowing what it is like now, what is it going to be like
We'll just
then?
Yeah.
It frightens me.
I want for the kids that we are having right now.
Ah,
It's more up for us right now. I'm doing yeah.
Since we full circle, this thing will just happen for a while. Then it will get to its breaking point. Then it will start reversing. The Roman Empire used to be very, very disgusting.
Oga Jesus is coming. Oh. There's no reversing anything. Oh. It's not getting any better. It's not.
In the time of the Roman Empire, there was no form of morality. Like it was very disgusting. But they got to a point, I'm like, Mbao, how far are we going with this thing now? It's not going to work. So they had to take steps back to correct whatever I did. So, having said that, I think you guys have done. We've stayed this long. It's the first broadcast. Everybody watching, I'm sorry that I did short notice. That's why people just came and left. But you need to understand that it's not going to be Wednesdays. It's only going to be Saturdays, purely Saturdays.
At what
So
time, Mr. Ron? You're
that's
looking
what I
for
was
my
going to.
trouble.
Because she has
I'm off. I'm off at
Yeah,
the moment, but Saturday is at 7.
7 to what? Okay, let's
7. I normally do 2 to 3 hours, so I always try and aim for like 9 o'clock, but it usually goes to 10.
okay, let's do 7 to 10. Then I'll just pick it from where you are.
Okay.
I'll
I can
leave
cut
it.
it down to 9 if it makes it easier. Me, I don't want to be staying that long.
Okay, that means we are still back to this same timing now. It's still the same time.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, I'll finish at 9.
I think we can make it work. We can make it work. We'll still discuss in the background and finalize. So, Buki, when is yours?
Mine is Fridays.
Fridays, what time?
Um,
There's a
5
time
p.m.
difference.
p.m.
Is it
Yeah.
our time or your time?
Give us
Your time
Nigerian.
should be around 12 a.m. though.
Give us Nigerian time.
12. 12 a.m.
12. 12
Okay,
a.m. Okay.
midnight. Okay.
Mm.
Everyone, thanks for those who have lasted this long. Thanks. It's the maiden broadcast, so nothing was really structured. We just test running. So on Saturday, before Saturday, I'm going to come up with the schedule and share it. So for those who have been here, God bless you, Sister Buki. I'm happy you got my back. You're always looking out for me. I really appreciate you. I have to say this publicly. I really, really
Thank you, sir.
appreciate a sister like you. Buki, Bukola, you too. Great. We've not known for that long, but you've been very supportive. Very, really appreciate you. Same thing goes for Bumi, even though she's not here and she's sulking and watching from wherever it is. I'm going to call her later. So, right. Bumi too has always been. Bumi is a background supporter. She easily gets triggered and she wants to rub it up. But I'm sure with time she will. So
Mm.
thanks everybody. I really okay. Let me quickly. Sorry, I forgot to read them. I'm really sorry, everybody. So I'll just start with Felix, the guy formerly known as Felix Uzo, formerly known as Felix. Good evening, then who's next? Adele Sakwe says good evening, everyone. Too. I don't know why this thing is freezing. Then Django Fett, my cousin. Hello, I see you, cuz. Uzo again. Good evening. Then who is this?
Success?
Success Wuzu, that's Success Petty. Hey, she joined us today.
Is that
Thanks.
Success Petty? Yeah, she's great.
The
So
wonderful.
supportive.
I'm telling you.
Mm.
And there's Enuka. Enuka says, "Hello, hey people, thanks, Enuka." Then there's Amen Hotep, my friend. Mr. Consequence, 1000%, always 1000. Then success again. Some Nigerian men will not go to war and leave women out of it. Those are the men we are talking about. We are the ones producing those kind of men. Their success again. If any war starts in Nigeria now, some of our Nigerian men will go hiding and send their women to war.
It's true.
But it's
Then,
true.
They will say I can't come and kill myself.
yeah, but
Ordinary vanguard will forget their bride on the altar and run away.
that's the message they're selling now, and that's why we have to crush this 50-50 nonsense. Then Stephen Ukoye, long time, interesting conversation. Have you listened to Pearl talk on you? Of course. I think I've even exchanged messages DM with Pearl before. Yeah, she's the black. Yeah, I have. She's a white girl. Then Sandra. Oh, this is actually Binta, Madam Binta. No, no, no.
Is that
Yeah,
B? Is that
yeah,
B2?
yes.
She is, yeah.
She's the one. Hypergamy still exists if that is what you want. Yes, it does. Nothing wrong with hypergamy if it's done properly. S- She again, suppose the man's income is not sufficient to support the home. Yeah, in that case, common sense detects that. Okay, yeah.
But you know that with that particular point, the headship thing is not about money.
It's not about
We've made
money alone.
Yeah,
That's
it's not about money. It's about the balance of respect in the home. He
No,
can
no.
earn just
It starts from money. It's that, and let me. Sorry, I forgot to make the point because everybody was shouting.
but it's not limited to money.
It's not
yeah, it's
limited.
not about money. It's not about money.
Are not designed by nature to provide. So if you're a man who is having a good job and doing well and you're out of job, the woman can only support you willingly for 1 to 6 months with
Yeah,
joy.
no, but that not even that situation, Ron. Not even that situation. There are situations, for example, now, Buki is a clinical psychologist, for example. The husband is an estate agent. You understand? Not that the husband is not doing anything worthwhile, just the field that she is in. She just earns more money. It happens like that. You understand?
I
So
get
do you get what
it.
I mean?
Yeah, I get it. So it will take a very balanced Bukola to be able to maturity. Like, yeah, he's still my husband, but I'm the one.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what the submission is all about.
All
But the,
about.
but the
Yeah.
general population of women are not like that.
Mm.
They'll start kicking dust once they're the ones providing. They'll start protesting. Then she in absolutely. I don't know what she's disagreeing with. American way of life in family structure is not one to follow. I agree with you. And the last one,
100%.
a marriage is an institution. Yes, Sabuki says that all the time. So thank
Are you
you,
doing your
everybody.
work? You go down. Please let me see it. Oh, sorry. Oh my God.
No, yeah, no. so thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next on Saturdays. I'll share the flyers and I'm also creating a Discord account. So I'll just add up people and you can easily be notified. Thanks everybody. God bless. I'm still saying God publicly. May the blessings follow you and yeah, because I've
Amen. Oh.
I need to train
Well
myself.
done, brother Ron. Well done. It's not easy. Well done.
I have to manage people. Thanks. Bye bye.
Thank you, Sister Buki. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
sis.
Sarah.